Wow, look at that. Thank you so much, Cindy. Oh my gosh, now that we got the tech issues out of the way, hi everybody. Thank you so much, Ifat, for your kind words. Thank you, Cindy, for the heads up. Um, Thank you all so much for watching live, and thank you to everyone who's going to be watching it on the replay. What I was saying before I was silent, which I'm hoping now you can hear. No, still no. Um, Let me know. We'll see. If not, I will leave and then come back and get it fixed. Okay, good. It's working now. I'm so sorry. But yeah, glad that we got that out of the way. My bad. But what I wanted to say is one, a huge, huge thank you for watching. But also, I wanted to celebrate with you because earlier this week, my very own page went live on Jackson's, which I think is so incredible. And I can't, honestly, like, kind of can't believe it, like not kind of, I can't believe it. It just feels so crazy um to see my name and my supplies and my favorite supplies and everything on my favorite art store. Kind of feels surreal. So I thought that it would be nice to celebrate together by talking through these supplies. And I'm going to be completely honest, I tried to record this as an edited video and I don't know why. I just wasn't happy with the video. Well, I say video. I recorded it so many times. I was fumbling over my words. I didn't feel like I was being clear. I felt like I was doing all the wrong things. And what better way to double down on that than to just go live? But I thought that it would be nice because I feel like ultimately the reason it wasn't working for me is that I wanted to do it together. And I feel like this is a nice way to do that. So yeah, thank you so much. Honestly, I'm so grateful because this wouldn't have been possible without you. Like, otherwise I'm just, like, why would they care? But thanks to you and to this community, it's meant that I've had wonderful opportunities like this one on Jackson. So I have left it linked in the description. My aim and my hope is to talk through some of my favorites, and then if you would like the full exclusive extensive list, then you can check out my page on Jackson's, which I have left linked in the description. It is an affiliate link, but I'm just so excited. And we'll see though. We'll see, because that's the beauty of live streams, right? We never really know what's going to happen. Hindsight's going to be 2020. Let me just raise this up a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, thank you so much, Pascali and Cindy and Looking Up and Ifat. Thank you all so much for being here. So, feel free to ask questions. Feel free to jump in. And kind of share your own experiences as well. I thought that it would make sense to you'd never guess that I've been trying to record this, right? It's like I should have this off the bat, but it is what it is. It's one of those weeks. But I guess one of the key things that I wanted to do or to say, I kind of feel like everyone who's watching, hi Kim, who's watching knows me, and so I don't need to introduce myself. But recently the channel has grown so much, and there've been so many new and lovely faces, and I guess it makes sense for me to do a little bit of an intro to give a bit of context and a bit of background, so that if you like the kind of art that I make or the kind of effects that I have and I use, then it would make sense as to why you would care about the supplies that I love. Does that make sense? But to give context, I am a mixed media artist based in the UK, and I love creating landscapes. I love creating florals. I love creating abstract work, which I'll show a little bit later. And I love creating both in the studio but also outdoors. So a lot of my videos and a lot of the art that I have created, some of it will be in the comfort of my own home, but a lot of them will also be when I travel, whether it be that I'm going for a holiday or I'm literally going to an art trip. And despite all the challenges and obstacles that come with urban sketching, plein air sketching, or plein air painting rather, or just like travel sketching, whatever name you want to ascribe to it, I feel like despite the challenges, they just always help me connect to a place better. They help me remember the place better, and they help me create artwork that feels a little bit more special to me. So that is a lot of what is on this channel and a lot of what is going to be in my art supplies, in my sketchbooks, and kind of reflective of the supplies that I am drawn to. And yeah, I love this piece. The other thing that I kind of need to do is I want to make some more art prints, and I need to pick artwork that would either work well as an art print or a sticker, and this is for a separate project. So if there's something that you see that you think, oh, use that, let me know. But to give you an idea, this is like the landscapes that I like to create, but then florals, and like I said, also abstract. So as no surprise to anyone, probably the first supply that I mentioned, and to be fair, the list is kind of in no particular order, but take a guess, take a wild guess as to what supply I actually had to mention first. And that is, of course, the Roman Schmoll watercolors. I adore them. I have loved them for years. Yeah, stickers. That's the thing, right, Cindy? Because I don't tend to use stickers, so I'm kind of stuck as to what artwork would lend well to being a sticker, if that makes sense. Because yeah, I don't know. Whoopsie. Yeah, I really don't know. So if you see something and you're like, oh, actually that would be a great sticker, and I'm not saying it like, it's not like, oh, you say that and then you're committed to buying it or something like that. It's not like that at all. I just genuinely don't know what would make a good sticker. But yes, of course, Roman Schmoll. So these are some of the many palettes that I have, but even, these are adorable, but I feel like even more helpful than seeing the palettes is seeing this. I want to get my drink out of shot. That feels like a risky thing to do. Let me not balance it on there. There we go. So these are the swatches. You enjoy putting them in front of your sketchbook. Yeah, that's what I've seen people do, but because I like keep mine plain, I'm always kind of stuck. But these swatches, which I hope you can see, these swatches are actually from a video that I made where I highlighted the top 30 Roman Schmoll colors as picked by you and as picked by me as well. So some of them are my choices, some of them were voted by you, but this is actually a few years old. So part of me does think we should do a revival, like a second list, if you will, where there can be some repeats, but there can also be some new ones. Because I think that since there's been a lot more colors that have been released as well. But I love Roman Schmoll watercolors for a range of reasons. I feel like the colors are beautiful, they're vibrant, there's a wide range of them, but also you get the benefits of having the more traditional colors, and then you also get some special colors that I just don't see anywhere else. I love the way that they re-wet, I love the way that they activate, I love the colors, I love the whole thing. So I have been in love with the watercolors for many years, and I think one of the things that these are just all swatches of Roman Schmoll, by the way. These are like mixes that I did. There's actually a video for members where I did this, so if you type in greens in my Ko-fi shop, it will come up. These are all their greens and their greys. I haven't swatched out the reds or the earth colors. That's more representative of the kind of art that I create rather than anything bad about them. This is these are swatches that I did of my urban sketching kit by Roman Schmoll, and it's so funny because I basically mixed buff titanium with each one of the colors, and a little while after that, I'm not saying this is why he said that, but Roman Schmoll had an interview and he was talking about one of the most underrated colors, and he actually said that buff titanium in his opinion was one of the most underrated colors. And it's so funny because a lot of people have buff titanium on their palette for mixing, and I guess I wanted to just show you the kind of mixes that you can get from it. This here is a palette, so it's actually, let's show like this, it's actually these colors here, 5 colors, and it's funny because I think if you want 2 or maybe definitely at least 3 of the colors here, but I think it might even be 2 depending on the colors, then it's cheaper for you to buy this set of 5 than to buy them individually. So you know, definitely worth considering. And then here what I did is just made all these different swatches just so that we could kind of see the different mixes that you can make with this limited palette. And it is lovely. You get a cool yellow, a warm red, a ultramarine is a warm blue, and then you get Aquarius green and Caput Mortem, so really nice earthy color. Really interesting set for like a basic set, and it gives rise to some very earthy mixes. I actually have a painting that I did using these. If I could make one change to this, it would be I would personally have a cool red, because I love using cool reds, but as in like a magenta kind of color, but still a helpful set nonetheless. And yeah, these are the colors that were released in 2023. This is my Thailand palette that I made. So sometimes, quite often actually, I'll curate palettes of colors, and it's a really fun exercise that you may want to try. Even if, say, your whole collection is 12 colors, try to make a triad, 3 colors that represent summer or represent a place or represent a feeling. It's just a nice fun way to look at your colors and to think about them in different ways, and also to think about them in terms of how they work together. Then basically some more swatching, some more experimenting. I have probably over 20 videos featuring Roma Schmall watercolors, and so a lot of past live streams as well have featured them, and that's where a lot of these swatches are from. Let me say one thing. So in terms of the colors themselves, or how I got started with Roma Schmall, shall we do a little bit of a story time? And that's the thing, when I tried to record this, I kept going off on tangents, which is why I couldn't keep the video. But when I started with Roma Schmall, this is my very, very first palette. Like, these are the colors that I picked, and I basically swatched them out. These are swatches of the same palette but in different ways. So this actually sits, or supposed to sit, inside the palette. These are flowers and these are just circles. And essentially I've made a video talking about the exact colors in more detail in my membership, but at this point I had completed my 100-day challenge, and I was really enjoying painting. I was really enjoying creating art, but I was also having a lot of frustration with some of my art supplies. I had tried using some chalk that Amazon sold as watercolor paint and said was good, and I didn't enjoy it. I was using my Cotman and I was kind of enjoying it, but I still kind of felt like there was more that I could enjoy that weren't quite as vibrant as I wanted. I was enjoying my Daniel Smith paints a lot, but I was really apprehensive about the cost of supplies, and I've kind of been honest about that throughout the channel, that like throughout my time here, that I kind of felt like, oh, my skills weren't good enough to use those art supplies. And now my thinking on that has changed, but it's taken years. It's taken years for me to get to that point where I could be like, oh, you know what, actually, I can use the good supplies, I can use the good paper, I can use the good watercolors. So that was the situation I was in, and I saw the Roma Schmall paints and they were on sale for the cheapest I've ever seen them, and I didn't buy them at the time because I thought that they might be student grade or chalky like the ones that I bought from Amazon. I thought I'd been penny wise, pound foolish in buying the ones from Amazon, and I didn't want to make the same mistake twice, so I didn't buy them. And then a few months later they went on sale again, and I looked online to see if I could find reviews or a website or something. Didn't find anything, which made me even more apprehensive because no swatching videos, no mentions, no nothing. But in the end, I reminded myself that these paints were within my budget. So if it's what I can afford, it's what I can afford. And I bought them and I fell in love. I absolutely fell in love with them. They were better than I could have imagined, and I realized that I'd kind of come across some really special paints that were professional quality for student grade prices at the time. The prices have still risen, and if you watch my videos back in the day, you'll notice that I would make the video and I would say, like, these prices are really good and there's no way they can stay like this forever. Buy them before they change. And but yeah, so these are the first 17, I don't know why I picked 17, but 17 colors that I bought at the time, and the rest is history. Let me catch up on the comments and I'll tell you what happened after, because that's how I fell in love with the watercolors, but later on I fell in love with the company as a whole. And I'm not an ambassador for Rome Schmo. I know a lot of people think I am, but I'm not. Let me catch up on the comments to make sure I'm not missing too much. Looking up, you're always afraid to use your stickers and to put them on something. Well, I can relate with the fear of being afraid to use something, because as I said, that was pretty much it for the first 4 or 5 years of me painting. But I think it depends. I do think that since I started using my supplies, I haven't regretted it, and it's made creating art even more fun. Who would have thought? Cindy, you put them inside the front cover. Pascali, you love stickers. They go on everything, especially sketchbooks, water bottles and laptops. Yeah, if you look at my sketchbooks, you'll see I have no stickers. Like I don't have stickers. And if you look at my home, I have no decor really. Like what you're seeing behind is not decoration, it's like functional, as in a bookcase, my art supplies. I have 3 family photos and that is it for decor. So I guess it kind of makes sense that I wouldn't fully know what to make stickers, but still I thought it would be cute to make some. Elizabeth, has anyone tried Schminke? You're thinking about buying a few. Have I used Schminke? I have used Schminke. I think it depends on what colors. I feel like, so they didn't make it to my favorites list, but not because they're bad, just because to me they're okay. Like I have one set and I judge my favorites based on the ones that I use the most, the ones that I go to use time and time again, sometimes without thinking. I just miss using them and I want to use them and I enjoy using them. And despite having a Schminke palette, I quite often don't think to use it, and I feel like they're just okay, and they have some really nice granulating colors which again are beautiful. I've never been tempted by the whole super granulating range, thank goodness, because they're pricey, but I think they're okay. I don't think that they are bad. I think they're okay. I don't know if anyone else has anything that they would like to share about the Schminke watercolors. I should make my swatch sheet into stickers, but then I won't be able to paint over it. Or do you mean, what do you mean? Do you mean like this as a sticker? Because it would be like, the sticker would be like, I guess this size. So this, I don't know if this would, or this. Let me know what you mean, Paige. Thank you, Karate Guy. Nice collection of colours. I know I'm quite fortunate and quite lucky in that respect. But yeah, so Roma Schmore are the colours that I loved and still love. And there's a little bit more to the history. I know that now we live in a time where we can't trust any review, so be aware I am biased. So, just one. Do you mean like one colour? Or do you mean like this whole thing as one sticker? Help me follow. I'll make a note of it because I need options. Anyway, I was using Roma Schmore. Could I share? No, I don't have enough. I don't have enough to share 17 exciting colours, to be honest. I think that's my entire collection. And that's because I bought a set of 12. Okay, Paige, I got it. One color as the swatch. Oh, do you mean because it has the doodles? Can you see that I'm really like, when it comes to stickers, I'm really like, what do the people want? What's a good sticker? Oh yeah, I was going to say what happened afterwards. I was making Roman Schmall. So once I got the Roman Schmall and I realized that actually they're awesome. Remember I said that there were no videos on it. So I was like, I'll make videos about this, because if there are people like me, you're going to find this super helpful, that there's professional grade watercolors, great price, and they're awesome. So why not? So I made videos about them, and then I reached out to them to work together. Didn't hear back. Reached out to them again. Didn't hear back. Reached out to them again. Didn't hear back. I'm going to save myself some of the embarrassment on how many times and in what mediums and in what ways. But eventually, at some point, someone from Roman Schmall got back to me, and they signed off as Roman Schmall. And I thought it was an employee. But no, it was the man himself who was emailing me. Can you imagine? This humble girl, can you actually imagine? And he replied to me, and he then sent me the entire range of Roman Schmall watercolors, which was wild. It was absolutely wild. And he didn't ask for anything. I need to look back on the emails to know how exactly it came to be, but I know I wasn't expecting it. And I know that when they arrived, I literally just lay them out on my couch and just watched them, like just looked at them. I was in awe, because you have to understand, I loved the paints and I was money conscious, and I was also coming from having a lot of brands just trying to take the mick and trying to take advantage and asking me to do the most for the bare minimum. And he just came and gave me like favorite paints and was just nice about it. Like I think tell me, I don't know if this is random. Tell me, have you ever cried from joy? I've never cried from joy. My eyes can get wet, but they've never like come down. That's one of the closest times I've ever come to from joy. And even when I think about it now, like my eyes and my nose start feeling like, don't do it, or maybe do it, I don't know. But I was just very touched, very, 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 very touched. So grateful, essentially. And yeah, it feels crazy now. It must have been like 2 years ago, probably around 2 years ago. So I'd probably been using them for 2 years, a year and a half. And then he sent me the entire range, and yeah, my heart was full. And then the other thing is that I know a lot of people think that Roman Schmall, the company, so the paints are called Aquarius, but I call them Roman Schmall. Yeah, Amanda, when I tell you, when the whole thing, I was speechless. I was just looking at them. Even now, the whole range, the whole range. And when a lot of people think that they're a big company, but they're actually a small family-owned company. And I think I was in love with the paints, and then I fell in love with the company. Obviously can't say I fell in love with the man, but you know, he's a married man after all. But I assume. But I was just very much blown away, and it obviously allowed me to learn a lot more about the paints and to use them and to really enjoy them. And I just absolutely loved them. And when I went to Italy a few months ago, I saw Roman Schmall, and I was trying to figure out how to introduce myself, because you must understand, it must feel like it's a bit weird. Like, you know, do I go, because I'm not, oh, sorry, my camera's showing my leg there, isn't it? Is that, yeah. I'm not, like, how does one go up to him and be like, hi, I'm the lady who makes videos on YouTube. Do you remember me? Like, I didn't really know. I was trying to figure out how to introduce myself. And he saw me standing in the corner, came over and said, I know you. And I was like, stop it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was beyond flattered. And I don't even know why I'm telling you this, but yeah, that's pretty much our history up until this point, and I love them. I have loved them for years, basically, and I've really been enjoying them for years. And these are some of the paintings that I have been doing. And I know that I bought a couple of things online recently, and the reviews were great on YouTube. And then when I bought them, they were terrible, and it kind of left me a bit bitter. and it kind of left me like, oh, I wish things had not disclaimers, but I don't think that just hence why I'm telling you all of it. I have never been paid by him. I have been sent free paints by him, and all the paints that you see here I have bought myself, but the full range he did give me. The sets that I've bought, I've obviously bought them, and he was actually teasing me in Italy because he was like, you have all my paints and yet you keep buying them, because I was buying his paints there, and I was like, it's because I love them, and also I want to support the business. It's my way to invest. At this point I should ask for stocks and shares, but these are all the paintings that I did with them. I will say that the gold in these are the Etcher gold, and it's so funny because you can see there's a few times where you see my art drastically change, or where I see my art drastically change. And one of them was when I started using Etcher's gold, because you can clearly see my flowers before and you can see my flowers after. And I really like the way that they look. The other, I guess, change was with the backgrounds. It's funny that, but anyway, that's the history, that's the background. Feel free to ask questions, because I have them here, and that's how we did a lot of the live streams, where like I would swatch out the different colors and talk through them and do comparisons and everything. I haven't been organized enough to get them out now, so I won't be able to do that, because I wanted to share all my favorites. But we can do that on a live if you want. This is the Essential set, which is one of my favorites. I actually want to put together a list of, a list of my favorites. The one that's the top 30 is all our favorite colors. It was based on your votes. I want to make my own palette as well, because you never know. When I get asked, I'll be ready. I'm fully joking. But I really love this palette, which is the Essentials. And I know, the backgrounds. Thank you, Amanda. And I've missed a few comments. I know, Amanda, I was so like blown away. Oh, thank you, Kim. I'm so glad that you enjoy the videos. That's the thing. I just wanted to make them helpful. And now, Cindy, you remember. You remember when I got them? I was blown away. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. It's one of the best gifts ever. In fact, thank you so much, Kelly. And Janine, no, you haven't missed that much. I've literally just started it, which is ridiculous. I've only mentioned one of my favorites so far, which is the Roman Schmall watercolors, and kind of shown a few of the paintings that I have created with them. And as time goes on, I will share, I'm hot. I will share more of the paintings that I used for them, because they featured so heavily in my artwork. But if anyone has any questions, please feel free to let me know. And then the other thing that I said is, if I show a piece and you're like, oh, turn that into a sticker, please let me know, because I wanted to make one sticker, maybe two, and I don't know which one to make, basically. And Pasquale has made the lovely suggestion of my swatches, like, my little swatch doodles. So they are contenders. I'll put that to the side, but it's all free game. And then obviously I've made videos kind of sharing how I made this palette. This one was my Italy palette, and look at that. Isn't there something so satisfying about like palettes and supplies that have been used. uh, I'm definitely favoring them two hauls at the moment, because it's just nice to know what people enjoy and what people actually use. So yeah, this is my Italy palette. This is the Urban Sketching palette. No, Urban Sketches, I want to say, palette is one of the new palettes that have come. So these were the colors that I did not select. They came with the palette, but I kind of want to try to use them and see, you know, there's something so sometimes intriguing and fun about using colors that another artist has picked. And these are the colors that I picked myself. Agent XP, hey, you got into Roman Schmuck. You know what, Agent XP, I saw your comment when you said that, and I can't remember. I don't think it was in the regrets video, but I can't remember what you said. But you started off with, I got them because of you. And I was like holding my breath, like, are you going to say that they're bad? Like, are you going to be like, I wasted my money? But praise God, I have never got a comment like that. And I say that because when I was talking about them and sharing my love of them, I was a very small channel at the time, and I didn't really think about, I hate the term influencer, but I didn't really think about the influence that my videos may have, if that makes sense. So I was just sharing what I felt, completely unfiltered, without really thinking about consequence of those videos. And then I started getting comments like, I bought them because of you. And I was like, oh, okay. And everyone has loved them. And I think that's one of the things that has been really, and I love them too. Like, but you know, that kind of had me then nervous, because I didn't really think about it when I was making these videos to be like, I love them so much. I didn't think about what may happen as a result. And it did make me nervous when people send me messages like that. But yeah, I'm so glad that you love them as well, Agent XP. You are waiting for your Aunt Miranda set. I know. Gosh, I asked them about that as well. Stocking the mini set as well as the essential set, but it doesn't look like it's happening anytime soon. I don't know about in general. Let me know. Is it lagging? It might be lagging for everyone actually, because it just said dropped frames. What's going on? It might be that my phone is overheating. Let me know. Heidi, I understand. That is in part why, well, I don't, if you feel comfortable sharing your country, please feel free. But that is in part why I expanded my list. So I love Roman Schmuck. I also love Daniel Smith. Where are you? Where are you? Okay, here you are. Okay. I also love Daniel Smith watercolors, and Daniel Smith were actually my very first professional grade watercolors. You worry about the use of honey in paints. Kelly, what do you mean by, what is your concern, and where do you live? I live in the UK, so in the UK it's completely fine. Oh, Heidi, you're in the USA. You can get Roman Schmuck in the USA. You can also get it, well, from the UK to the USA. So I guess now it's a little bit tricky. But then I guess that leads to Daniel Smith, which luckily for you is from Seattle. And let me, oh, your top three. Controversial. Winsor & Newton watercolors are not in my top three. Oh. Although I know a lot of people love them, but Daniel Smith are indeed one of my favorites. They are my very first professional grade watercolors, and when I bought them, I'm looking for something I wanted to show you. When I bought them, I made a video. I shared it with you actually. You could see my unboxing and my first impressions years ago now. Where is my, I'm looking for something. I'll tell you when I find it. Or if I find it, how did I lose? Uh-oh. Whoops, maybe that's how. Hold on 1 second. Oh, here it is. Oh my gosh. Oh, back on Roman Schmall for 1 second, yeah? Just 1 second. This was a video as well. And I was basically feeling in a bit of a rut where I kept feeling like I couldn't create what I wanted to create, and I should create what I should make. So things that would be good for videos or blah, blah, blah. And I just kind of felt stuck, and I gave myself a day to just create whatever I wanted, and I painted non-stop. And these are all Roman Schmall watercolors. I just kept, because I wanted to paint flowers, but I think I'd got a comment to say that said something, and this is not to say something bad about them, like, you know, people are free to share their experience, but it was something like, oh, you know, I prefer when you don't paint flowers. And so I hadn't painted flowers in a bit, and then I was like, I miss painting flowers so much, and I literally just painted flower after flower. This was like all one day, flower after flower after flower after flower, and I loved it. I had such a good day, such a good time. And these were all, or are all, Roman Schmall watercolors. And in fact, I think I made a video, something to the effect that sometimes you just gotta make what you want to make, you know, like forget what makes quote unquote sense and just paint what you want. Unless it's your job, this is supposed to be fun. You're supposed to enjoy the process, and if you don't enjoy it, what is the point? Anyway, that's what these paintings are and what they represent. And then we go back to Daniel Smith. So Daniel Smith were my first paints, and I actually unboxed them, pulled them out, did the whole works as a video. And yes, I completely agree, Heidi, paint what you love. And when I made, and by the way, if I've missed a comment, can you please just repeat it again? I'm so sorry. I can only see like a few comments at a time, and sometimes I know I'm missing them. Thank you so much, Agent XP and Marilyn and Kim and Amanda. Okay, Agent XP, they're really transparent Winsor & Newton paints. And in fact, you love Winsor & Newton as well. And Cindy, Daniel Smith are number one for you too. And I can see why. So when I got them, I got the split primaries initially, plus a few extra colours that I thought I would love. I was disappointed bitterly by one, but loved the rest. And I put them in a palette where I had them with my student grade paints. So I had Winsor & Newton Cotman on one side, and then I had my Daniel Smith professional watercolours. Now I know this sounds mad and it sounds crazy, and I wasn't mixing them, so it's not like I would mix my Daniel Smith into my Cotman paint. I was, like I said, conscious about money, and so I knew that they were expensive and they were small, and I wanted to save my Daniel Smith for when I had more confidence, or I knew I was going to create something that was really going to dedicate time to and really think about, or something like that. And I wanted my Cotman for me to like paint freely and loosely and not have to worry about the money. And so I had them in the same palette, and I just kept using Daniel Smith without thinking. And that's what I said, my favorites are the ones that I go back to time and time and time again, the ones that I use most. And I was just enjoying it so much, I couldn't stop painting with them, and I kept finishing my tubes, and then I would be like, oh, but I can't afford to get more tubes, hence why I started looking for a more affordable option for me in the UK. But I loved the paints, and my collection grew. And eventually I started realizing that, you know what, it's okay for me to invest and to spend money on things that I enjoy, and you know, my art is worth the good art supplies. Hello from Seattle, Sharmak. Great timing, we're talking about the Daniel Smith watercolors. And so the Daniel Smith watercolors are the ones that helped me realize that I actually enjoyed watercolor, and that there was a difference between student grade and professional grade, and I definitely preferred the professional grade watercolors. And oh yeah, what I was looking for, oh my gosh, not again. This must be, you know how I told you that I was like Mr. Bean on the beach? That's what I mean. Anyway, this is what I was looking for. So this is actually a video that I have made and shared where I highlight my current Daniel Smith palette, and I loved it. It taught me so much about using a limited palette. These are the 5 colors that I use time and time again, and I talk about the different colors in more detail in that video. So if you want to know about how I put a palette together and the mixes and my most used colors, be sure to check that out. It's a palette that I have used a lot this summer. I've ran out of Nickel Azo Yellow, Quin Rose, Ultramarine several times. And Piemonte, I didn't run out. Well, I topped up once. And Manganese Blue Hue, I actually completely ran out of. And this is all I have left, like this tiny tube. But anyway, what I wanted to show you, the reason I was looking around like that, was that is it in here? Oh my gosh, can you imagine if this is the wrong one after? Oh yes, here it is. These are all Daniel Smith. So I have a few of the dot cards. And what I decided to do, I have swatches where I name the colors and then I highlight their transparency, their light fastness, and the pigments that are inside. I have that. And I wanted to kind of do that again here, which is why I started writing. But there was something so therapeutic about just swatching out the colors that in the end I decided I wasn't going to make it a useful swatch sheet. I was just going to swatch the dot cards so that I could have the beautiful colors to look at. So it's not that helpful in terms of knowing what color is which without having the dot cards next to you. But by looking at them, you just can see how beautiful the colors are. Even when I don't have any of these like sparkly ones, but as I was looking back through them, I was like, I should perhaps reconsider, especially like this one, because I'm painting a lot of seas at the moment. And this one, I can hold them a bit closer in a second so that you can see, but these are all Daniel Smith. That's why I was looking for them, because although they're not labeled, they are swatches, of the color. Let's go to the next page. So these are all Daniel Smith, and I think obviously they're linked on Jackson's. They are a good option. They're really a good option. They're one of my favorites between Roman Schmoll and Daniel Smith. I love them both. Don't make me choose. Yeah, no, I agree, Agent XP. So I have the professional grade Winsor & Newtons too. I have both. And I do feel like, don't get me wrong, Cotman and Van Gogh, which are both student grade, are what kept me painting when I'd bought chalk from Amazon and genuinely thought that maybe watercolor wasn't for me, and I wasn't enjoying acrylics either, so I was just wondering, am I going to continue painting? And then I tried Winsor & Newton, Cotman and Van Gogh, and they were so much better that I was like, okay, yeah, I can keep painting. But then again, it kind of came to a point where I kind of felt like I was hitting a ceiling, and that's when I tried the Daniel Smith, and I was like, I can't go back. I can't go back. But I need a UK equivalent, or not even UK, but like, a closer equivalent that I can then use. So these are some of the colors. It is hot too. It is hot here too. I think also because I'm underneath the lights, that isn't helping. So these are some of my Daniel Smith swatches, and a little later I will talk on my favorite papers and kind of do some flip throughs, and then you'll kind of get to see a bit more of the paintings. But as you can see, these are all my Daniel Smith watercolors, and I have bought all bar 4 colors. So in Italy, when I was in Italy, John Cogley, the owner, actually kindly gifted me 4 of the colors, but all the others I've bought myself. As you can see, it's quite big. And then I also have the watercolor sticks, which I either use a brush and take it off here because they're more pigmented, like the most pigmented is sticks, then tubes, then pans. So I either do that or I cut this and I use it in place of a pan, like cut it and put it in my palette. and use it in place of a half pan. I had to do that for Moon Glow because I ran out of Moon Glow as a tube, and I think that's the wrong palette. Yeah, I ran out of Moon Glow as a tube, but I still needed some Moon Glow. Wrong one. This will come up in a second. And so I cut my tube, which is fine. It's the whole purpose as to why I got them. That's the other thing. All the sticks are the same price, whether they are series 1, whether they are series 4, whether they are series whatever, they're the same price. So if there are some series 4 colors that you really want to get, if they have them in sticks, they're the same price as series 1, so you might as well get it, unless you particularly want some tubes for some reason. Now, I'm so sorry, I forgot. There was, who was it who mentioned that they're worried about the honey in Roman Schmall? If you let me know your concerns, we can kind of talk through them. I will say that the honey has, the biggest thing with the honey for me in the UK is that when I get the full pans, more so, because that's what I bought. So these are the Roman Schmall ones. So this is like a full pan. This sticky thing, this thing will sometimes stick to the top. And as I have alluded to, you know, money doesn't grow on trees. And so I don't want my paint to then be thrown away. Simple fix for this. Put it in the fridge if you won't remember, or as in like put it in the fridge for a few minutes, or if you want it super quick, put it in the freezer for like a minute or two, and then you peel it off. Comes off nicely, no issue, no residue, no stickiness, no nothing. I even did it during a live stream to now I haven't had any issues with mold. I haven't had, those are the two main things I would think would be the issue with honey. So if you are somewhere that is really humid, they're not going to be as sticky as M. Graham. But they are going to be sticky at first when you take off that thing. So I just put it in the fridge first and then take it off, and then it's fine. And I haven't had issues with mold, so that's been good. I can't remember who it was that asked though. I'm so sorry. I think I got distracted somewhere in the in the chat. But I hope that's reassuring. And if anyone can, and then people who've lived in the US haven't told me they've had any issues with the stickiness. Obviously, humidity is different. Oh, thank you. Thank you. In fact, you would love to see a more in-depth tutorial. So if you mean tutorial as in like me painting step-by-step process, I share those on my membership. If you mean tutorials in like me talking through the color choices in my palettes, I do that for the Daniel Smith video on YouTube and the Sennelier video on YouTube, and also the Creating an Italian palette on YouTube. And the principle applies to all my palettes. Hey Janine, are there any good bargain buys on Jackson's at the moment? Is it still possible to get those 3 core tubes? No, it's not possible. I haven't seen them on sale for a while. And last time that I saw them on sale, I think they were like £6, which is still a bargain, but it's not the 25p. And for those who don't know, a few months ago now, I want to say months, I was scrolling through Jackson's, as I do, as a hobby. We all have, we listen and we don't judge. And as I was scrolling through, I found a set of 3 core watercolors. And hold on, I believe I should have them to hand. Yeah. This one isn't open yet. Show you how many I got it. Anyway, so I saw this, which is essentially a set of core watercolors, and it comes in handy actually because core is the next color on my list. So to answer your question, Janine, no, I don't know of any current super crazy deals. I think apart from, not on watercolor, but the Inktense blocks the Inktense pencils, sorry, that come in the wooden case are currently 50% off. For the UK, that's crazy. And that is on my page. But if I see any other deals, I will share them. So I love Core. They mentioned Core is, for me, a special kind of color because Core moves a lot on the page. It behaves differently to other watercolors, in my opinion, and I enjoy them, but that's why they're kind of like in a category of their own. It's why I don't use them all the time, always, because I like some level of control over my paintings, and I feel like I find that harder with Core, as much as I love and enjoy them. And what Janine is talking about is that a few months ago, as I was scrolling through Jackson's, I saw that they were selling this set of 3 5mm tubes of Core for 25p. 25 pence. Oh my gosh. And I saw it late at night. I bought one. They only did one per order. No, I said per order, not per customer. So they only did one per order. I immediately ordered one, and then I went to I feel like it's the one time I really spammed the internet. You guys may disagree, but I went to my community tab, I went to my stories, I went everywhere. I sent an email. I said, if I had your email address, I sent you an email to be like, look, yeah, you may or may not like Core, but you have to understand, in the UK they are like 11 to 18 pounds per tube. In the US, they're obviously a lot cheaper, but in the UK, they're quite expensive. And they even have a set of 6 tubes of the same size that are around 38, 40 pounds. So to get 3 tubes, they should be around 18 pounds, and they were 25 cents in the US. I shouted it from the rooftops. I tried to tell absolutely everyone, because I was like, even if you're not sure about them, this is the best way to figure out if you enjoy them, and to paint with them, and to discover them. And you get the 5mm tubes for 25p. I have never seen a deal like it, and I was like, this surely must be a mistake. And that's why I was I was like, it may be a mistake, or maybe it's just a really good promotion. Either way, it was middle of the night. I was telling people, if I had your email address, I emailed you. If I don't have your email address, feel free to take this as a hint to join either my membership or my mailing list. Because if I do see deals like this, I do share them. Not all the time and not often, but this felt like a very special occasion. 25p instead of 17 pounds or 18 pounds. So what I did is I emailed everyone and let them know, and then the next day they went up to £2.50. I was like, cool, no problem. £2.50, still worth it. Over £17. Perfect opportunity to get to know if you like Core. And I'm just looking for where I swatched them out, because also it was it's the primary colors that they gave us. So here, these are the colors. These 3 are inside, and these are the mixes that you can make with them, and including this one, just messing around. But I emailed everyone. The next day they were £2.50, and still I let people know. I messaged on the community. I think I even did a live stream and I mentioned it. And I was like, look, I don't think this is going to last forever, because I've personally never seen a deal like this. And the next day, the listing just didn't exist anymore. And then it came back, and I think it was like £5 or £6 after that. But that's why I was like, when I come at you with these deals, you got to be quick with it. But it was like 2 or 3 days of really great deals. And even when they were 25p, it was 1 per order. And I ordered like 1 as part of my order, and then I ordered 1. That was the only thing. So I had to pay shipping. And I was like, even with the shipping, this is worth it. But yeah, these are the core colors. These are some of the mixes that you can make using just those 3 colors. And I have, is it in here? Yes, these are core colors as well. So these are the colors that you get in the Intensity set, which I bought for a lot of money, shall we say. Not a lot. Well, it was I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like it was £35, something like that, for these 6 colours, 5 ml tubes. So I had the Quin Magenta already, but I love the colour so much. But if anyone else knows of any super cool, really awesome deals like that one, by all means, feel free to share. That's the beauty of this community and other communities as well. I messaged on Ko-fi. I let everybody know. Oh, Agent XP, you bought them, but they were £3 by that time. Yeah, exactly. I was like, everybody, everybody, please do it. Oh, hey, Blue Vert. Blue Vert for Depot. Welcome. We're just highlighting. Oh, you got them as well, April, $4 Canadian. That's the thing. Thank you so much. Blue, honestly, same. Like, I made a point of just trying to let as many people as possible know what was going on. So, but that's the thing, and that was kind of my reminder. I've had many reminders that, you know what, at the end of the day with YouTube, I can't control who sees my messages. I can't control who sees my posts, my videos, or anything. So I can post something 1,000,000 times and it won't necessarily mean that you will see it. And that's made me value like having an email list and a membership even more, because a lot of the people who said they got it, I think half were my members, and so they got a direct message from me to be like 25p. £2.50, and even when it was £2.50, I posted again. I was like, it's £2.50, but what you have to understand is that it's worth it. Like the set that I bought of 6, worth it. I love core, they're so nice. But 25p, 25 pence, £2.50. It's a no-brainer, mate. Absolute no-brainer. Now, yes, Leslie, I do that sometimes too. I haven't seen any recent samples, or I haven't really seen any recent samples that I've been that tempted by recently, but that one was a great one. But we've talked about Remishmore, Daniel Smith, Core. Sennelier is the other one that I wanted to highlight, and I kind of made a point. So Remishmore and Daniel Smith are my favorites. They are top position. That being said, I love watercolors, gouache, creating in general, and I do feel like, I'm not trying to say that they're the best over everything that's out there. I'm saying they're the best for me, you see. But I do feel like there are some other really great watercolors that I have been enjoying. After all, I love painting. One such brand is Sennelier. Now with Sennelier, I have been using them for years as well, but quietly I had one tube here, one tube there. Didn't really mention them that much. Would use them in my palettes, but again, didn't really mention them. Use Sophie Yellow all the time, Opera all the time. And then I realized, like, what? I never really tend to talk about them that much. And do I enjoy them? Do I not? I actually thought about them more because I'd run out of them, and I was like, oh, I need to buy some more. And I was like, how am I running out of these paints? And yet I've never made a video, never talked about them, and I can't really think of any particular one painting that I have created using just these paints. And at that time, there was a 40% sale on Sennelier. And so I bought some Sennelier, and these are the colours here. And I made a video talking about the colours that I got, swatching them out, and I started painting with them. These are actually, I've made all of these pages, like this is a video, this is a video, this is a video, so on and so forth, because for the month of July, I was doing a watercolour challenge on my membership, and as part of it, I created 8 videos talking and highlighting my favorite parts of watercolor, and I used Sennelier as an example because my point is, if you love painting, you love painting, and it's not one brand over absolutely every brand. It's watercolor ultimately, and here they're different lessons. So here I was talking about wet, damp and dry. Then I was talking about like color. This is a real-time tutorial. Like, I love this painting. I took the reference when I went to Cornwall in St. Ives, and then did this as a real-time painting on there for members. But all these paintings here are done with Sennelier. I really used it as an opportunity to get to know it better. You know what I mean? Like, to try and see the pros and cons of the paint and how it works. And it's so interesting because you can see like the Caput Mortuum is one that I added to my, it's this palette. So I added it to my palette and I was umming and ahhing as to whether to add Caput Mortuum or to add Payne's Grey, because as you'll see from the swatches, there's no grey here, which I was like, I love me some greys, like Shabish Grey, Romish Malt, one of my favorites, Payne's Greys. I made a whole video swatching out my 12 Payne's Greys because I really love them. But that being said, I felt really tempted to add Caput Mortuum, and as you'll see from the rest of the swatches, it's not like I'm heavy on using earth pigments or anything like that. So it felt quite different. But you know what? I was like, you know what? I keep feeling like it. Let me just roll with it. Let me add Caput Mortuum. And I'm so glad I did, because some of the greys and the neutrals that you can make using Caput Mortuum, sweet. So nice. So nice. Oh, sticker idea. My pears and pink peach roses. My pear... What? My pink slash... Which ones? Tell me which ones, Cindy. I'm here for it. So this is again another video. And another video. And these are all Sennelier paints. And sorry, the point of me mentioning Sennelier is that I really like them as like the more traditional watercolors. They are, a lot of them are quite nice and transparent. They have like this vibrancy and translucency about them, like you're able to layer them, and it really got me to love and appreciate the layering ability of watercolor. And I guess is in part why I started layering in a lot more of my watercolors. And like I said, every so often I will look at my art and see where something changed. And I feel like the thing that has changed more recently has been me using watercolor in a bit more of a traditional way, even when I add mixed media to it. That's so cool, Tracy. Thank you for sharing. I saw that test pack by Sennelier. My one thing with that was that they're all different colors that you can't use together. As in, like, even if they're primary colors, I'd have one yellow that's an oil pastel, one that's a watercolor, one blue that's watercolor, one, do you see what I mean? Like, it's very much like you can use it for monochromatic studies basically, but you wouldn't be able to use it together. Have I tried turquoise green PG50 from Sennelier? No. I had to check to see if it was this one. No, this is cobalt green PB36. I have not tried it. Are you recommending it? And Cindy, you said my pink and peach roses in my sketchbook. Was it in this sketchbook? It wouldn't have been in this sketchbook. There are no roses in this sketchbook. If I open it again, will you let me know? The last paints that I mentioned on there, and this was in part because I kind of also like to give people options. We are all living in different places in the world. We all have different budgets and we all have different properties and qualities that we enjoy and we appreciate. And so these are sticky, these have honey, but still no mold or anything like that. I'm just aware of it because I know that if I leave this in here and I stick it, you see, it will stick. So outside it stays. Oh, the pears from the live, Cindy. Wow, your memory is stellar. I'll bring them up in a second. Where are you? Where are you? I'll bring them up in a second. But Rosa Gallery are the other paints that I mentioned. If you were to ask me what professional grade watercolors are currently the most affordable, it is Rosa Gallery without doubt. And I'd stand on that 10 toes. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, I understand. Okay, Cindy, I'll bring them out and share it with everyone. Leslie finds the Sennelier tube paints to be less sticky than M. Graham. I haven't tried M. Graham yet. I was tempted. I am still tempted, to be honest. I think about it every so often. I look at the sets, because they have like the Quinn set, the Seascape set, we'll see. One day, like I said, I keep feeling like, how can I say what's my favorite without trying everything? But I can say that I'm happy with what I have now. But yeah, I do really also enjoy Rosa Gallery. I wouldn't say, like, you can see by the use, they're not necessarily my absolute favorites. I still love Roman Schmall and Daniel Smith. That being said, for the price, can't be beat. They are professional. They're not student grade paints. They are pro paints for a great price that does not make sense. And you may remember, and also they move, so they're vibrant and they move. And I've made a video where I swatch them out and I show you how they work. The aim of the video was less so about the Rosa Gallery paints themselves, and it was more so about how to explore your new colors, how to get to know them, and like little drills and exercises that I do from time to time that will help me like better understand them. So before you think like, oh my gosh, you put it on your favorites list and it's barely used, this is like my original Rosa Gallery paint set. Messy as always. But yeah, some of them were actually full pans that I bought and then added. So these were like individual colors that I'd picked out, and some of them I bought as tubes and then poured them and let them dry. They took forever to dry, are still kind of tacky. They have no honey. That's the thing that's interesting. They have no honey and they have no aquasol, which is what core has that allows it to move, and yet they behave as if they do, and I can't explain it. They reactivate and re-wet like Sennelier and Roman Schmall, but they have no honey, and they move not quite as much as core, but quite a bit, and have no aquasol. They're lovely. Oh, Amanda, you had to swatch your core palette. You love swatching. Don't worry, I love swatching too. Well, I think I love swatching if I'm just doing it for myself. If I'm trying to make a swatching video on YouTube, oh my gosh, they're so hard because they're hard. Let me put these back. Ooh. Okay. Now, what I was talking about next was going to be, I guess we might as well, it was gouache. But before gouache, let me show you what Cindy was talking about. Cindy, I think, correct me if I'm wrong. Oh wait, now the pairs from the live, I was confused. Do you mean these pairs, Cindy, or do you mean these pairs? Because I thought you meant these pairs, but now I'm thinking maybe you mean these ones from the live stream. So let's say 1 or 2. Let me know which. But these, I guess, could kind of make cute stickers as well. But this is from the live stream, a great Zoom session with my art members capturing my favorite fruit pairs. Amanda, you started with Rosa Gallery. You mean swatching or painting with them? Because they are lovely. Hi Wildflower, welcome. I'm so sorry. I keep falling behind on the chat. But if you said something and I didn't respond, feel free to say it again. I will never think that you're spamming. I will just understand that I'm behind. And then I believe Cindy's talking about these roses from the retreat with the cute little swatches. I'm in the process of making that video. These are the number 1. Oh, I should have said big or small. Big, number 1 is the big ones. These ones. this was so fun to do, like my encyclopedia page inspired by this page. Bittersweet. See what I did there? See what I did there? Oh, thank you, Leslie. Orange is a stunner. This one is orange. So where do I start? This was it was honestly, it was a bad day. It started off as a bad day, let me say that. I wanted to make a video. I had this idea for like encyclopedia pages, and I wanted to make it as a YouTube video, and I spent 2 to 3 hours trying to set up the tech. My tripod wasn't working, my camera wasn't working, my phone wasn't working. I was trying and trying and trying, and it just felt like nothing was working. And after I had spared the whole day to create art, and after trying to do that for a few hours, I just had completely lost the will, the motivation, and the excitement to paint. And I kind of felt really sad about it, because I was like, wow, I can't believe that YouTube is it. I was being extreme, but in my head I was like, wow, YouTube is killing my joy for creating art. Like, this is crazy. Or trying to create a YouTube video has just killed that passion that I had, because I was so excited. And so out of stubbornness, I said, you know what, I'm going to paint regardless, but I'm not doing the YouTube video anymore. And I didn't. That video does not exist. It never happened. I did put top-down recording that I thought I would maybe share with my members, and then I looked at it and I was like, I don't even know if I like the footage or the lighting or the blah blah blah. So I decided, okay, I'm giving up on that video idea. Video never saw the light of day, but I'm going to do a self-care painting day. I'm going to paint with the supplies that I love. I'm going to put some music on. I'm going to watch my favorite shows, and I'm just going to paint. And I'm just going to paint for me. And I want that spark and that excitement to come back. And that's basically what I did. Hence lemons. Bitter, if you will, but also turning lemons into lemonade. And this painting is of the flower, and it's with watercolor. Then here is fountain pen, ink and watercolor. Here is gouache. This is gouache as well. And then here we go. So this is gouache. This is some drawing and some watercolor, I want to say. This is some watercolor and ink, and this is just ink, and it's all just lemons. And I really liked this idea of having the encyclopedia style pages or vintage style pages, which was what I wanted to make the video about. But I couldn't. And then the next time that I had a live stream, I did it with my members instead. And this time I picked my favorite fruit, which is pears. And so on Saturday, the 19th of April, 2025, we got together and I put up different references, and we did our own compositions and put together our own page. And this is the page that I created as a result. So the flowers that grow with pears, who knew? Little swatches, different pears, so on and so forth. Yes, the lemons remind you of Italy. I'm not surprised. Honestly, I had no idea that there were so many lemons around in the Amalfi Coast, but that is the thing that stands out to me when I think about it. And then this painting here is from another session that I did with my members. Special shout out to Cindy, because these are her references, and the way that we were doing a still life session where we sent in our own still life references. Cindy's still life, like everyone's were beautiful. That'd be like Cindy's, they looked like professionally done. She just had the most beautiful things and put them together in the most beautiful of ways. And so these are the two paintings that I did based on them. And I think these are the roses that you mean. So I'll keep them as a maybe. And the good thing about this being a live stream is that we can always go back and see. Now, then we have the oranges. So all the painting, well, most of the paintings here, I actually did live. This sketchbook I completed in 5 days, from start, 31st, to finish. Although, actually, how's that right? Or maybe I did it up to here. Oh no, I know what I did. But yeah, I dedicated 5 days and I completed it. I actually thought I could finish it in one day. So that's why I did the live stream, because I was like, we're going to finish the sketchbook together. Banter, absolute laugh. That weekend, I did an 11-hour live stream. As in, like, I did 5.5 hours, or maybe, yeah, 5.5 hours the first day, 6 hours the second, and I got halfway through the sketchbook. But that is where the lemons were actually, the orange, sorry, was actually painted live. All of these were painted live. This is with gouache, which is actually the next medium that we're going to talk about, because I love gouache. Depending on what day you ask me, I go through phases. One of the Substack posts that I created was basically asking you about your own experience, because my art cycles, and I mean like in terms of the volume that I create, but also what I enjoy using. There'll be like a month straight where all I want to do is paint with gouache. You can't tell me nothing. I'm not like, I will just paint with landscapes with gouache continuously, day in, day out. I don't want to see flowers. I don't want to see anything else, no other medium, watercolor who. And then like something switches and I'll be like, all I want to do, like right now, I'm on a watercolor kick. When I tell you, watercolor. The amount of paintings that I've done those past few months, just painting with watercolors, has been wild. So it depends on, some days watercolor is my favorite medium and some days gouache is my favorite medium. I guess it makes sense to flip through this as we go through it. Thank you, Wildflower. Those live streams were epic. Till this day, I keep thinking I need to do it again, even if I don't complete the sketchbook in that live stream, because to be fair, let's be honest, that's crazy expectation. It was so much fun. It was so much fun. Let me catch up on the chat. Estonia, hi. I don't know if you've gone through this, but I wanted to know what were the additional paints that you added to the Roman Schmoll mini urban sketches palette? That's a good question, Estonia. I haven't talked about it in great detail, but let me say this. This is the Urban Sketches palette. I haven't added any colours as of yet. I just wanted to try to use these and see what kind of mixes I could make and what kind of art, like to take it as a mini challenge, if you will. So I haven't added any colours. I guess that's the quick answer. The longer answer is that in this one, I haven't got the Urban Sketches colours. I put my own colours based on Italy, and these are the... Ooh, why is my hand shaking? Let's just change that to this one. But these are the colors that I have inside this palette, just in case you are interested and want to screenshot it. I don't know what colors I will add. I suspect I would probably add Quin Magenta. Quin Magenta is the main color that for me is missing. What else would I add? Sorry, when looking at this, what else would I add? I like benzimidazole brown as well, so I feel like I might add that. And I know that there's autumn green in there, but I feel like I might add like a hooker's green, or probably a hooker's green, because I was thinking like I would want a green that has a little bit less personality, so that I can sway it myself. Those are the main, but that's the thing, I kind of want to see what this palette can do on its own. But if anyone has the urban sketching palette and has some tips or advice or some insights on what colors they added that they feel work really well for the palette, then feel free to let me know. I haven't got the case with me to show you what colors were in there. And for this Italy one, I actually made a video talking about them and I swatched them out. But the question is, what sketchbook did I swatch them out in? Because as you will see, I have a lot of sketchbooks. So we'll come back to that later. But I hope that helps. Yeah, Sharmak, definitely watercolor and boats right now. I can't even tell you how much I'm enjoying painting them. But I can show you in a second so that you can see them personified. But I guess to answer the question on gouache, what my favorite gouache, I love using the Winsor & Newton designer gouache. In the UK especially, they are so beautifully, easily accessible. You're more than welcome, Estonia. And if anyone has any questions and I missed it, please just repeat it. Maybe put question in caps at the beginning so that I can see it. If you said something and I didn't respond, just say it again. I promise you, I'm not ignoring you. I just struggle to keep up with the chat sometimes, but I enjoy chatting with you. I love the comments, so keep them coming. But yeah, I love the Winsor & Newton gouache are my favorite go-to most used gouache, hands down. I also used the Daniel Smith gouache. I started using them last year. They were nice. They were really, really nice. I wonder which sketchbook. When I show you the sketchbooks, maybe we'll come across those paintings again. But they were really, really nice. But of course, in the UK, they are more than double the price of the Winsor & Newton gouache. So Winsor & Newton are the one that I use most. In the US, some of the prices that I've seen for the Winsor & Newton gouache are insane. Absolutely insane. And that is also in part why I had different options for you, because I love all the gouache that I've tried, that I've mentioned, that's there. I've loved, I've enjoyed, and I'm not saying hands down, no matter what, get Winsor & Newton. If Winsor & Newton were the same price as if Daniel Smith were the same price as Winsor & Newton, I'd probably get Daniel Smith. But it's not the case. And if I was in and I'm using that as an example because I feel like in the US that's very close to the truth. Like the set that I was getting for £25, that unfortunately is now £30 in the UK, was over $100 in the US. That's wild. I'm not telling you to get that if that's how much it's costing. But they are my most used. I love them. I do really love and enjoy them. They're nice. They are opaque. They're not like these gouaches that are transparent and then, like, if I wanted something that was transparent, I would just use watercolor. So they are my favorites. I also really enjoy Shinhan and Holbein gouache. Now, they come with an asterisk. They come with a caveat, if you will. What is the caveat, you may ask? You may wonder. So, wait. This is my Winsor & Newton gouache, and I made a video. Everything has a video, which I kind of feel is kind of nice. On one hand, I'm not saying like I have a video to, I don't know, in some ways I feel like that must be so annoying to hear, but I'm just saying it so then watch them. And in the Winsor & Newton gouache video where I highlight all my gouache, one of the things that I did that I really enjoyed, that I would propose some people think about, is I actually swatched out all my colors, the different series that represents the different costs, right? So series 1 is cheaper than series 4, as is the case for a lot of brands. And then I also, so on one axis I have the series, which is basically the cost, and on the other axis I have the light fastness, and I basically swatched them out. Hold on, it'd be easier if I just showed you. Oh wait, is it here? No, it's not here. Oh, here. No, it is here. Oh, yay. Okay. We're still on Winsor & Newton gouache. So these are swatches that I did. And this is the chart that I'm talking about, which makes more sense if I show you. So here I have series 1 to 4. That basically means that as we go this way, the colors are getting more expensive. Here is excellent light fastness all the way to fugitive. What that then means is that colors in this range are the cheapest and they're not going to fade, right? Colors in this corner are the most expensive and they will fade. So ideally what I wanted was, like, if I could get my colors just in here, that's basically what I would do. Love them. But when you look at this, because the excellent light fastness is this category here, it's chunkier than the rest. So it's half the page, top half of the page, right? So when you look at that, what I feel you can quite clearly see, or what I could see, is that actually the series 1 colors that aren't going to fade, that are really affordable, are blues and yellows, but I don't have any reds that fall into that. And at the time, I didn't have a yellow that fell into that either. So I then basically did some swatches. I basically wanted to see, like, actually what colors should I get and what colors don't make sense for me to get. And to give you an example, like, I love the opera pink and I love the magenta, and also I have the quin magenta here, but the quin magenta is rated as quote unquote permanent but not tested. The opera and the magenta are flat out fugitive. So these colors right here, series 2, more expensive than this one, but they will definitely fade. Thankfully, there were no colors that really fell into this category. And then when I looked at this, I could see that series 4, cadmium yellow, was excellent and not going to fade, but lemon yellow, I quite liked the hue as well. And that is series 1, cheapest. I hope you're following me and it makes sense. When I look here, I could see that this is cheapest, moderately primary red, but it's rated as moderately durable. So if I had to pick between one of these, you know, they may be more expensive, but they're actually going to be a little bit more light fast. So it just kind of helped me to visually see and assess what colors make sense for me to get. So blues might be a very good example. Windsor Blue, I quite like the hue and the color itself, but it's a series 3 and there are so many other options that are pretty blues as well that are series 1s. Does that randomly make sense? I hope it makes sense. And then I also did here some bigger swatches. So this primary yellow, lemon yellow, cadmium lemon are all cool-ish yellows. This one's series 1, this one's series 4. And so I was like, yeah, I can buy lemon yellow. I don't need to get cadmium lemon. And then here, primary red. This one, to be fair, I prefer the primary red color, so I will probably get it as well, but it's moderately durable, which instills zero confidence in me. And then here, the permanent rose is light fast 1, but series 3. So these are the Winsor & Newton gouache colors that I have, that I love, that I really enjoy. And these are some of the different things that I do, and I think, because I do think about cost when I get these supplies. I can't lie and pretend that I don't, but you can get some good quality, like a few good quality supplies for the same budget as you could get 100 crappy supplies. And that is a lesson that I have personally learnt myself the hard way several times. And again, you can see all these videos in real time, and you can look back on all of these. They almost feel like digital receipts. Oh yes, I was going to talk about the asterisk that comes with Shinhan and Holbein. So, and if you have any questions or what I said didn't make sense, please let me know. Welcome back, Agent XP. Oh, good, Heidi. I'm so glad that you enjoyed the cost analysis. I feel like it makes sense, right? Because if there are two colors, like the yellows, I feel like a very good example where they look very similar. They may not behave completely the same. The cadmium lemon is probably going to be a bit more opaque than the lemon yellow. But if there's not a massive difference and one color is almost like 50-60% more expensive, I would want to know that. Please do an updated nightly good night. Please do an updated favorites from the brand or unique ones to buy in your eyes. That's a very good video idea, which I will do. I was thinking about doing one for Roman Schmall. Daniel Smith also makes sense. Yeah, that's definitely doable. It will take me a little while, but I can definitely do it. Thank you for the suggestion. These are the asterisks that come with Holbein. This is Holbein gouache. These are the paintings that I have done with Holbein gouache. This one, Holbein gouache, Holbein acrylic gouache, Holbein acrylic gouache, Holbein gouache on top of Holbein acrylic gouache. And then Holbein, Holbein, Holbein and other media. Somewhere down the line, this is like Windsor and other media. And then this is Shinhan. This is Shinhan Pass, so disregard. And this is probably Shinhan as well. Anyway, the reason that I say there's an asterisk is that, as you can see, there's a lot of like really beautiful colors, and I feel like where Shinhan and Holbein stand out is that the consistency is wonderful, the opacity is there, the pigment load is fantastic, and they have unique colors. So whereas I find like some more of the more traditional colors in Winsor and Newton and Daniel Smith, although Daniel Smith has some more interesting and nuanced colors as well, Shinhan and Holbein definitely have a lot of like really standout beautiful colors that you just don't see. But the issue is that they love multiple pigments. Like they will have like one of these colors has 5 pigments, which to me is beyond wild. This rose here has 5 pigments. Why one color would have 5 pigments is beyond me. This one has 4 pigments. And when you look at them, that's the thing that gets me. When you look at them, they're not the most, of all the colors that they have, it's not like, oh my gosh, this color is so crazily unique that I can understand why it has 5 pigments. So that's the one thing that I will say, that if you're looking for the more traditional colors that have 1 or 2 pigments, Holbein and Shinhan are not necessarily going to be those colors. But they will be really lovely, beautiful colors. The other thing that I will say is a question on light fastness. And I feel like it's always such a big debate, and I don't really understand why. My thing is, I want to know light fastness so I can make an informed decision. If I then decide to use opera rose in my paintings, which I do quite a lot of the time, then that is my business. But what I will not do is pay cadmium prices, which is like series 4 expensive prices, for cheap pigments. That's why I want to know, so that if I'm doing it, I know what I'm doing. And if I have one color that's going to fade versus one color that's not going to fade, and they're similar, I can go for the one that's not going to fade. I'm not out here looking for colors that are going to fade intentionally. But will I use colors that will fade? Yes, of course I will, because, you know, life, I'm like, you know, YOLO. If I enjoy the color, I enjoy the color. And I honestly, thus far, nobody has paid me nobody has paid me museum quality payment for paintings. You know what I'm saying? People will be like, oh no, I want it to be excellent light fastness and last 200 years and outlive us all. Okay, sure. But yeah, so that's my stance on light fastness. That being said, a lot of the colors in Holbein do have like dyes and stuff, so they will fade. So I will say, you know, if you paint something that you really like, take a nice picture or scan it and then move on with your life, because it will fade and the colors will change. A lot of the colors, like this one for example, has BV11, BV7, BR1, so it's not going to be the same. It will change. I don't know. I know some colors will change. I don't mean with Holbein, but in general, I know some colors will change even in sketchbooks. Some colors will change only if exposed to light. But if you're that pressed, take a picture or scan it and then keep it that way, because that was, I guess, the intent of gouache. It was meant to be something that would then be scanned and used for like, you know, animation, so on and so forth. That being said, that's why I say like with a caveat, because again, for you guys in the US, my friends in the US, the prices for Holbein are crazy because of, you know, they're not local basically, so they cost more. And in Japan, they're not priced like that. So in Japan, they're priced accordingly. For the rest of us, it's a bit more expensive in the UK, but in the US, some of the prices are crazy. And so that's why I have given you some options. But these are some of the paintings that I have done primarily with gouache and then complemented them with some other supplies as well. I'm going to catch up on the comments. Yeah. Oh, nightly good night. That is the question. I really don't know. Oh, you mean to create that video? Yes, but I can't pick between the two. Maybe I'll probably do it in twofold. I can do my favorites edition, but then I could also do a favorite of everyone else's, like popular demand, like we did the top 30 for Roman Schmuel. But I can definitely swatch out the ones that I have and pick out the ones that I think are special, super, super special. This one, again, I love gouache, you know, like it's such a babe, really a good babe. These are the Shinhan colors. I didn't swatch them all out. Like I said, sometimes I love swatching, sometimes I don't. And the reason I didn't swatch it out is because I wanted to record a video and I just did not. And so and so there is no there are no swatches, but I did write out all the pigment numbers, and I can see that there's quite a few that have 3 colors, but not as many. To be fair, they are not as many as Holbein, but cobalt violet, for example, is BV11, magenta is BV1 and PR1. These colors will fade. No, you're more than welcome, Heidi. It's so enjoyable to talk about these. These are Shinhan Pass, which are a watercolor and gouache hybrid. I need to use them a bit more. I just got a limited palette. I was umming and ahhing. It's actually another bittersweet moment, because you'll see this in a live stream. I was umming and ahhing last Black Friday about whether I should get the set. The set was on sale for £109. From 138, and by the time that I ended the stream, I decided I'm going to get it. By the time that I ended the stream and went to buy it, it was sold out, and it has not come back since. But yeah, it anyway, it is what it is. It's what it's meant to be, isn't it? We do, such as life. But it is supposed to be like a hybrid. And I was umming and ahhing because there is a bit of a, I don't know if you can see it. Yes, you can see it there. There's a bit of a shine to it, which is not something that I like, but it's not every color. So I didn't know if maybe there was a little bit more binder in that color that I was using. I also don't like the painting. Is probably the main issue, but it's definitely something that I need to try. But I do have this limited palette, and I thought that lemon yellow was a normal yellow, but in fact it's neon. But they are quite fun. So that's gouache. If anyone has any gouache questions, please feel free to let me know. But I feel like it leads us nicely to the next favorites, which is, hey Nancy. Aww. Oh, that's a good question, Nancy. That's a very good suggestion, actually. It's so funny because I turned those paintings that Nancy is mentioning, and for those who are new and don't know, these ones where I basically painted flowers all day, I turned these into a calendar, actually, for my members last year or 2 years ago. But they could make cute stickers. I feel my favorite is this one. I think I like it because I added all these extra details, and I like the colors. YOLO Rose. I feel like it adequately describes, you know, the joy and the point of it. Like, it's fun to use, so use it. That being said, you know, if Opera Rose was really expensive, would I buy it? Probably not. I would just live my life with Quin Magenta, which I also love but won't fade. But yeah, so maybe I will do that. Thank you so much, Nancy. I'm making a note of all of these, and I will probably also rewatch this and kind of use that to judge which sticker I should make. Thank you, Agent XB. The next favorite is paper. So I don't know if it's any surprise to anyone. I, of course, mentioned the Etcher sketchbooks and a number of different papers, but let me first say that again, because I feel like there's quite a few new people who are meeting the me now as opposed to the me 5 years ago or 4.5 years ago when I started this channel, that did not use 100% cotton watercolor paper. I can't tell you how much I was like, I can't, they were just too expensive. I just felt like they were too expensive. This is a hobby, money doesn't grow on trees. I've always been quite frugal, I don't know what the term is, but like money conscious. Basically, I don't spend, like outside of art supplies, I don't spend. And so I would not use 100% cotton. I used cellulose paper, and I bought lots of cellulose sketchbooks, and I would paint on them, and I would enjoy them. And for the longest time, you would tell me to use 100% cotton watercolor paper, and I resisted. And then I bought Bao Hong. Was it Bao Hong that got me? Yes, I bought Bao Hong, but actually, I'm trying to think. I bought Bao Hong and I used it, but still was like, yeah, it's still too expensive. I'm not going to use it all the time. And then I got Paul Rubens papers, and even though they were hot pressed, which I don't enjoy as much, I prefer cold pressed paper, I was using it over and over and over. And I was like, why am I using this paper when I don't even like the texture? And it was the cotton. And I was like, oh, I like what cotton does. And then from there, I was using Bao Hong, and I was really enjoying it. And a lot of the paintings that you saw, the bigger ones, where are you? A lot of the bigger paintings that I was showing you a second ago with my florals, they were on Bao Hong. And then I discovered Etcher, and I was like, there's no going back. And from there, basically, it's just so crazy to think that, how far I've come. But basically, yes, my favorite sketchbooks are the Etcher sketchbooks, and there are two of them. So there are 3 sketchbooks by Etcher. However, I love the portrait orientation, which then means that my favorite sketchbooks that I am drawn to are the Everyday Sketchbook and the Signature Series sketchbook. The Everyday Sketchbook, it's in the name. I use it all the time. It's 100% cotton. It is cold pressed, but has less texture. To be fair, I tend to prefer the texture on the other sketchbook, but I'll come to that in a second. But it's just a lovely sketchbook to use, and that is the one that, you know, has the white covers that you're seeing me used left, right, and center. And I am an Etcher ambassador. Now, so what that means for you is that if you use the code that I'll leave in the description, you get 10% off your purchase. I believe is your first purchase, so make it count. But yeah, it also means that you'll see it featured quite heavily. Now, what is nice about YouTube is that you will have seen that I was using the papers and the sketchbooks and the supplies long before I became an ambassador. But yeah, I just really enjoy this paper. And one of the things that this is the sketchbook that I completed in 5 days, by the way. This is gouache and pen. This was during a live stream, because remember I told you it was across 2 live streams. So this is when I started doing the live streams again, so you can see them in real time. I quite like this style. There's something quite, I don't know, it's different for me. I use less brush strokes. It seems more painterly than normal. I quite like this. But yeah, so I am Etcher's ambassador. I do love the sketchbooks. They are my favorite supplies, and this one is the one that I use most because I feel less precious with it. And don't get me wrong, I felt very precious with them for a very long time, but there kind of came a point where I was like, what's the point of painting if I don't enjoy it? So I have just been trying to make a conscious effort of using the supplies that I actually enjoy. And it is on the pricier side of sketchbooks. Like 100% cotton sketchbooks are more expensive than the cellulose ones, but they are what I enjoy. And ultimately, I think this one is, I want to say like £30 now. It was like 28, but now it's probably gone up because it's the B5 size, so it's bigger than A5. And okay, that means that I'm spending maybe £1 a day on my sketchbook. That's okay. And how many sketchbooks do I finish a year? Now I'm painting like crazy, so probably quite a few. But normally like one or two. So okay, I'm spending £60 on a sketchbook a year, fine. And the bitter lesson that I learned is that actually I spent a lot more on cellulose sketchbooks because I bought so many. so many. So now I'm trying to spend less. I'm happy getting less sketchbooks if it means it's paper that I enjoy, is basically the long and short of it. But I'm not trying to act like money doesn't play a factor, because of course it does. Yeah, oh my gosh. This, like, I use this as an example. You see like this blending here, like this natural blending from one color to another, and then the granulation, that to me is the magic of 100% cotton, is why I can't go back, because I hated cauliflowers. And cellulose paper is great if you really like texture and you want the watercolor to sit on top of your paper, and you want harsh edges or interesting effects, then it's perfect. But I hate cauliflowers. And so I was always fighting to try to avoid them. And why? And so yes, I've turned to, as soon as I started using 100% cotton, I didn't really go back. What I will say is that with gouache, forgiving, I can use gouache on, as long as it's watercolor paper, whether it's cellulose or 100% cotton, I will be happy, I will love it, and I will enjoy it. And in fact, I did a video where I cut out different pieces of paper, and I did the same gouache, I don't know what I was thinking, but I did the same gouache painting on each paper, and I had numbered them, but I hadn't I had labeled them in the back, but not at the front. Now, there were obviously some things that I could see with my eyes, like I can tell if a paper is cold press versus hot press or whatever, but I did it over a period of days as well. So I didn't know which paper was 100% cotton and which paper was cellulose. And I just wanted to know, without the influence of being told which paper is best, which paper do I like? And I was umming and ahhing between, the ones that I didn't like as much, I could see clearly. But then the top place, I was umming and ahhing. First and second, I was like, I can't tell the difference. I love both of them. And I'd done paintings on all the papers. I'd done swatches on all the papers. I'd done like a color wheel on all the papers. And the experience was different on the swatches versus the painting. So I was umming and ahhing, and I couldn't decide. I was like, I can't tell. And then this was without me seeing which was cellulose and which one was 100% cotton. And then, spoiler, I picked the one that was 100% cotton. Eventually, I was like, okay, I think if I had to say, it was this one that I enjoyed the most. And then I turned it around and I saw it was 100% cotton. And so if push came to shove, I would have said, okay, yes, that one is my favorite. If I knew the price, hands down, I would have picked, like, if I'm there going back and forth for like 20 minutes on which paper I like most, clearly the difference was not clear enough. You know, do you see what I mean? Whereas with watercolor, the difference is so clear. Like, it makes such a huge difference to my painting experience and my results. With gouache, it did not. And so I would use either one, as long as it's for watercolor. I would say some mixed media papers will also be fine. Gouache is very forgiving, but like I did some paintings on the Royal Talon sketchbook with gouache, and like this is gouache, for example, and like it works, but it's not as nice and smooth and pleasing as it is on watercolor paper, in my opinion. Let me catch up on the comments, sorry. Yes, Agent XP. Yes, exactly. That was this sketchbook here is the one where I did the live streams for 11 hours over that weekend. I was saying we need to do it again. Like, I'll give people enough notice, stretch, drink water, eat your food, come prepared. We're going to try and finish a sketchbook in a day. When I do these challenges and like the 10-hour challenge and stuff as well, I also struggle because obviously I could just do a line on each page and call it done. But my whole point is that I actually want to create pieces that I like and I enjoy. And that is ultimately what then means that, you know, I take longer, and that's equally fine. To me, there's no point finishing the sketchbook if I then didn't enjoy the experience and hated everything I painted. But also with this one, sorry, with this sketchbook, one of the things that I forgot to mention is that it was, as part of that live stream, I had also done an art challenge with members and with you through the live stream. That was art bingo. So I had like different prompts for each page that I Shamak has to be, it's gonna be a big one. But I did different prompts. And then the aim is to kind of get bingo. And I actually sent out all the different prompts to my members in the Happy Mail. But I was working on that through the sketchbook. So this, for example, was doing the background first and then coming over the top and doing details. This one here, I'm doing cubism / straight lines only. Here, this was 20 brush strokes. This was so hard and so interesting because maybe it's just me, but it was actually hard to focus and know what brushstroke I was on. Does that make sense? And I was trying to make each brushstroke last. So I was doing like super long brushstrokes. I think if I did it again, even if I said 50 brushstrokes, I would do like a brushstroke. Like I wouldn't go wild and do the sky like all the way from top to bottom kind of thing, which is what I was doing. So I would do it differently, but it was a very mindful exercise because I actually had to concentrate quite a lot on how I wanted to capture the landscape, making every brushstroke count and also counting them. I kept losing count. Like, thank goodness I was on a live stream because I'd be like, wait, am I on 16 or 13? Or like, you have to be very present when you're doing that. So that's actually a very enjoyable exercise. This one was using 3 colors, and Miranda Watson, who also has a YouTube channel called Alkali Creek Art, Miranda Watson, she picked phthalo blue, burnt umber and orange. And I mean, it was the greenest reference that you can imagine. And obviously the colors that she picked, I couldn't make green, but it was still fun. It was still a lot of fun. And to me, it ended up looking like a snowy scene. And then this one was doing the same reference, but in 1 minute, 2 minutes and 6 minutes. Then, this one was a fun one. Tell me which one is your favorite. Hey, Terry. Hold on. I'm going to cover this. And you tell me, this is the right one. This is the left one. Oh. Which one is your favorite, right or left? Or maybe, hold on. There we go. Which one is your favorite, right or left? Yes, exactly, Wildflower. You were there specifically telling me not to use yellow. And that made it so hard to paint with green, to create a green scene. But again, that was the whole point of the sketchbook, to have fun and to enjoy. Yeah, Sharmak. Finish a sketchbook together and then do a throwdown afterwards. It would be a crazy session. I will see what my calendar is looking like for the rest of the month because it would definitely be fun to do. I know I've missed some comments, so I will go back. Right. Okay, cool. The thing that I found really interesting about this is that this I painted with my right hand. This I painted with my left hand. And before this painting, I didn't actually think I liked painting with my left hand. I found it very uncomfortable and unenjoyable the last times I tried. But actually this time I had an absolute blast. And I could not believe that my non-dominant hand could do that. And part of me wonders if it's because like I'm a surgeon, so I'm getting better to like, you know, I'm not ambidextrous, but obviously my left hand is getting more competent than I remember it being. But it was just so fun to actually paint and to create with that. And hold on, I know I missed something. Wildflower, you said I gave up on finding affordable 100% cotton sketchbook. And you made your own. I think that's also like the way to go about it because you get to pick the papers that you want, the colors that you want, the size that you want. The format is just the best way to go about it, if you can. I've made my own sketchbooks as well. I'm just not quite patient enough. Wildflower, you love cauliflowers. Do you know what's funny? I met some really lovely artists in Italy, and I was speaking to Anna Marie, And she asked me how I like to paint, which I'd never thought about, because I was like, I don't know, I don't think, I just paint, it just happens. And I didn't want to say that, so I said, how do you paint? Because I felt like I didn't understand the question. Does that make sense? And she says she liked to paint a la prima, so she'll kind of do it all in one one go, kind of. And she will use anyway, she described how she likes to paint. And my understanding from it, when she said like, oh, it's all in one go, so was, if you're doing that, the paper's going to dry in different rates, which means you'll get cauliflowers. So I was like, oh, do you like cauliflowers? And she was like, yeah, she loves them. She loves the texture, and she creates these really beautiful, expressive portraits. And I was like, oh, well, that makes sense, because I hate cauliflowers. And thus I would actively avoid doing that technique, because I would not want it. And what she mentioned, which was really interesting, and I don't know if it's the case, is that like more traditionally people would avoid cauliflowers. And so a lot of artists in the UK and in England wouldn't like cauliflowers, whereas a lot from the US and other places, or those who enjoy creating abstract works, would enjoy cauliflowers, and thus you tend to see it a lot more in their work, which we didn't know if this was the case or this was why, but it was just an interesting thought. I hadn't really thought about how being in the UK or being who I am or where I am would affect my art style, but it was very interesting to think like, how do I paint? And the answer is still, I don't know. Astroglio, oh my gosh, Astroglio, welcome. Can I just say, I was going to email you yesterday, and I hope you're still in the chat, because I saw your message so much later. I'm so sorry. Let me know if you're still in the chat, actually, because maybe this won't make sense if you're not, don't worry. But if you are watching and listening, and what I was going to say is that I was going to email you yesterday just to say hi, catch up, know how you're doing, and then I was like, I just thought you might think I was a stalker, or not a stalker, but I was like, I didn't know whether you would find it weird that I emailed you, so I didn't. But I was thinking about it, and then I started looking like for your email address to, I started looking for your email address to find it, and then I got distracted, started doing something else. But literally yesterday, I was like, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to email you and say hi and see how you're doing. But hi, how you doing? You've been on my mind. And I hope that you are well. That was basically all I was going to say in the email. So I was like, people don't really do that anymore, like, check in. But every so often when someone crosses my mind, I do try to reach out to them to say hi. But I do also feel like they might think I'm just being weird. But I still try to do it. But it's just so funny, because as soon as I saw your name, I was like, I was literally going to email you. And I was looking at some 100% cotton paper, and thus obviously thought of you as well. Now, oh my gosh, I have. Oh, Sharmak, you have bought 22 by 30 inch paper sheets. They are still in the plastic, haven't touched them. Preaching to the choir. I didn't touch mine until I made my sketchbooks. That's why I had to make them, like, even as in like the sketchbooks that I made to sell. That's when I started using them, because I was like, this is getting ridiculous, because they're so big as well. So I feel like that's what made it daunting. But as soon as I cut them, I started feeling more comfortable using them. More than half of my paper is still in the plastic, still to be used, and I definitely need to use them. I was going to say like, oh, it will be my goal for this year, but realistically it's going to take me more than the few months we have left to complete it. So preaching to the choir, we listen, we don't judge, don't worry. Then let's see, pretty neat left, yeah. Thank you, Agent XPC. When I look at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't tell the difference. But I found it crazy that, I just found it crazy, like painting with my left hand and with my right hand. And I think they were also like timed. So it's not like I gave myself an indefinite amount of time to do this. So I was still quite impressed. Terry, you like the right one because you can see the little sheet better. Yeah, of course. Painting, oh my god, sorry, I'm squinting because I haven't got my glasses. Painting the Sky Kingdom. Am I still working as a doctor? I am. And I can 100% understand while you stepped away. Let me just say that. And I'm glad that you did what was best for you and that you're taking care of yourself. But yeah, I am still a doctor. Yeah. It's funny because I always get that question, I get that question a lot, or like, am I really a doctor? Like, yeah, I tend to get that question a lot. But yeah, I guess the next natural question is like, how am I then able to balance it all? And to be honest, I don't feel like I was balancing it all very well. I haven't got the healthiest of habits, as you can probably tell by me being up in the middle of the night. And yeah, so it's still a work in progress on how I'm balancing it. And I think it kind of got complicated a little bit when I got ill. But that being said, this is my hobby. and so I try where possible to just squeezing time for my hobby so that I have something else outside of medicine to look forward to and to enjoy. Yes, that's the thing. I'm not saying that, okay, I guess it sounds like I'm saying like they are bad because I'm saying that I hate them. I don't like the effects. I don't like the way that they look. I think it's like, you know how some people don't like the feel of some things, or, I think it's the same thing for me when it comes to cauliflowers. But I can appreciate when people do them and it looks good. It's not like, oh my gosh, I look at them like, oh, it's repulsive. I just don't like them in my paintings. And so quite often, if you're seeing them in my paintings, they're not intentional. And a lot has happened in order for them to be there. This was using pen, and this was doing continuous line, which I think is awesome, because I literally... How did I do this? Yeah, I started here and I went down and went up and then went back here like this, like that, like that. And then went down, did these trees, did this rock, went across, went like this, and then ended it here. This took me 3 minutes. I was like, I actually love drawing and I love continuous line because it looks arty and it's quick. I feel like I have to move quickly when I'm doing continuous line. And you can see the process of me doing that in the sketchbook tool. And then this was totally abstract. This was a lot of fun to do, actually. I was listening to music and dancing around and painting. And it actually took a lot of work to do this, which I know it's funny because I kind of, at a point I was telling myself a lot of paint as well. A lot of layers of acrylic, watercolor, gouache, tempera sticks, acrylic inks. They were the primary ones. Acrylic pens as well, like a lot of layers. And I was at a point I had to tell myself, like, look here, nobody's going to know if it's not right. But I was like, I know it's not right. And so I kept adding layer upon layer upon layer until I got to this, which I actually liked. Oh, okay, Leslie, you also hate cauliflowers, cool. So it's not just a US thing. I think it's just sensory thing. Everybody's going to love and enjoy different things. This I did. The prompt was using something I don't use enough, and this I did using the flash paints, which the prompt is still true. I don't use them enough. I got them so that I could use them in mixed media art. I got them because they dry matte, so they're not shiny, and you can layer on top of them. You can draw on top of them. And I don't use them enough. I think in part, I feel like, and see if you follow me, I feel like maybe the colors are a little bit too muted for me. We'll see. I need to keep painting with them. But this is flash paint. This is gouache. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Are you seeing what I'm seeing? When I directly compare it, I was like, is that why? Because this is like gouache, this is watercolor. How did we get here? I haven't spoken through all the prompts. I just skipped a whole bunch. This one's one reference, but I did ink, neocolor, gouache, and watercolor. This was from a one-to-one I did with one of my members, Laura. This was painting from imagination. This was with pen. This is continuous line, which I mentioned, totally abstract. Then we came to supply I don't use enough, which is the flash paint. And then this was using complementary colors. So I specifically used like oranges and yellows with blues. And you can tell that they're complementary because when I mix them, we get like all these interesting neutral colors, even though it's technically blue and yellow should make green. But because of where they are on the color wheel, they actually made gray. I am missing some of the chat. Let me catch up. How do I keep falling behind? My goodness. Hey Christiane and Heidi Moose and Marilyn and Astroglio and where? Okay. Yeah, I love the Fabriano Artistico Bright White too, and the Saunders. Oh, oh my gosh, still talking about papers. I just keep going on tangents. The Saunders Waterford High White or Bright White. It's not Bright White. It's High White. Is it High White? It might be High White. I feel like it has a different name to the Artistico ones, but I like both of them. It is nice. It is really nice paper. I have not tried soft press, although I am tempted by it because I know quite a few people have mentioned it, like between hot press and cold press. I think that's what people say this etcher paper is like. Like a woven texture. Yay! Hey, Sienna. Okay, cool. Just catching up. So this was complementary colors. This was add something, and I mean I was a bit lazy. I just added some houses. This was same painting, different sizes, and I actually shared the real-time process of creating this on my membership. And then this had no prompt. This was 3 materials, 3 colors, and then I added more because I didn't feel like the colors were working. Continuous line, and then I added paint patterns. So if you look at the cacti, they all have different patterns on them, which I did using gouache and then using some pastel pencils. Impressionistic. And then this had no prompt. And I think at this point we'd finished all the prompts. So I was just doing what I wanted and actually taking some prompts from you. So someone had suggested that I do a blind contour drawing, so where I'm looking at the reference but not looking at my paper, and that's what I did for these pairs, and then I painted the pairs while also looking at them. Then the orange, the pears, orange, and I think these were supposed to be plums, but then, or figs. I think they're supposed to be figs, but then they started looking like plums. This is gouache and pencil and some pastel, I think. Then this is the origin of, in part, of when I started painting boats. So this was a Zoom session that we did together as part of my membership, and in there we were doing art bingo, so kind of continuing on what I had been doing during the live streams, and I picked out the references so that we could work through them together, and a lot of them had boats inside them, and we were like, wow, boats are hard, we should probably dedicate some time to painting them. And then fast forward a few months later, everything else started happening, and that's when I started painting boats more consistently. So this was use pen, 20 brush strokes, continuous line, painting from imagination, so I used colors from imagination, and then using my left hand. Then this was using a textured background, new or underused supplies. So I used my Molotow big acrylic pen and gouache and some Inktense pencils. And then, oh, I love this, as I mentioned, this bit right here. I feel like I did this raw. I think this was a 1-to-1. I'll have to double check, but I feel like it might have been a 1-to-1. And then this painting I absolutely love. It's one of my little sketchbooks that I made, actually. And then here, and then it's over. So the Etcher sketchbooks, the everyday sketchbooks, I just really enjoy because I can use a range of different medias inside them. The one thing I would change, of course, is the covers, but they're like that so that you can paint on them. But as we established from me, who doesn't like modify or decorate anything, I haven't really decorated them apart from 2. This is one of them where I painted it and then I sealed it, and I made a video because I didn't know what would work, what wouldn't work, and some things have worked, some things, like some of the seal that I used is peeling off a bit, but for the most part it's held its own. And yeah, I love these paintings. This is the last painting that I did, and that was in 10th of March 2024, 8th of March 2024. So you can just see I guess the kind of art and the kind of paintings that I love to create and that I enjoy. This is gouache inside it as well. I'm going quite fast. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much, Terry. And thank you, Mariam. That's very sweet of you. Pith. I haven't tried Pith. I have a very small sketchbook that's by Pith that I need to try out. But if you've watched my video where I talk about how many sketchbooks I have, you will know that I have a lot. So there's quite a lot to get through and to try out. This painting is special because I actually did it when a few days after my birthday. Basically, my family had got me, they always get me the best gifts, and they'd got me a spa day in London so that I could get a massage. And it's so funny because as I was getting the massage, she was like, oh my gosh, you have so many knots. Like my legs were full of knots, my back was full of knots, my left shoulder was full of knots. And I was like, I wonder why. But I guess like my job is actually quite active. And she was like, are you standing a lot? Like, what are you doing? I was like, oh yeah, I guess, like I operate, so I'm standing, like I don't know. And yeah, she was like, oh, you have so many knots, you really need to get more massages, which to be honest I do. I think that was the last good massage I had, to be honest. I had one more after that, but she didn't massage me like this. It was really weird. I had it in super random side tangent, but I had it in Italy, and she didn't like massage like this. She just like pressed down on me and then would go to a different place and like press down. And then like I had to tell her like I'm sorry, like in Italian. I was like, oh, I want like a normal massage like this. And she was like, yeah, no, trust, this is part of the process. And then she like held my head and just pressed. And do you want to know my reaction? I was like, I don't know what she's doing. I just need to pray over myself. Like, it's because people don't normally like touch your head, isn't it? So I was like, I don't know what this is. And I was like, just praying the entire time she was massaging me. I was like, I don't know what she's summoning. I don't know what she's doing. I'm just going to keep praying until this massage is over. Anyway, the massage before that was this one last year, and that was a great massage. And then this is painted all purple because my acrylic ink spilt everywhere, on my table, on my sketchbook, everywhere, and I didn't want to waste it, so I thought that I would use it as an opportunity to paint it like inside. I don't know why, but these are all everyday sketchbooks, which I really thoroughly enjoy. And then so is this one. This one is a big one, and as an Etcher ambassador, I do get some of the sketchbooks for free, but then I also buy some, and this one is one that I bought. There was a sale where they were 50% off, and so I told you they were 50% off, and I bought this. I don't like landscape format, but I was like, for 50% off, I can get over it, and I actually really enjoyed this sketchbook. The other part of the reason that I bought this is because as you saw in my other sketchbooks, I like working across the page when I'm using B5. So I thought that actually if I got an A4, that's landscape, that's basically the size that I keep painting in and saying that I don't like painting in. Does that make sense? Let me catch up on the comments. Oh, Nightly, good night. You're a massage therapist as well. So do you know what kind of technique that was? It's just like, just trust the process. I have had, I have not had the hot massage, the rock ones. I want to try it though, because I feel like I feel like something is needed, something strong is needed. Um, Wildflower. It's the truth. You know what is the truth? I can't price plays a factor in my head. I can't wait to be rich enough that will not be the case. But until that happens, I'm still like, oh, okay, what? But 50% off. You having a laugh? I bought this sketchbook. I bought the accordion sketchbook. I bought the small A6 sketchbook. Like, I just got a range of different sizes. A lot of them were sold out, unfortunately, understandably. This was on Jackson's. But yeah, this is also, so this I bought basically, and quite a lot of the other sketchbooks I bought. I have a problem. I've shared it in the video where I counted all my sketchbooks, and tell me now how many sketchbooks you think I have. Not if you know, don't spoil it for others, but tell me how many sketchbooks you think I have, and I will tell you as of the last time I counted how many I had. Yes, it was this sketchbook, Terry. Is this sketchbook that I took when I was car camping, and I found that, so my thought was that actually a lot of the paintings, where are you? I need to actually paint them so that they are somewhat color coded. I don't even think I showed you this one, did I? But this is my point. A lot of my paintings go across both pages. So I was like, well, if I got an A4 sketchbook, is that not basically the size that I keep painting in? And then I won't have the gutter in the middle, even though I technically keep saying I don't like landscape. Well, I did show you this. I just didn't show you the beginning. But like, even that, I was like, okay, so I can do this. So that was why, and also, like I said, 50% off. That was why I got this. But this is all coming up in a video soon, so I don't want to show you all the spoilers, but these are the paintings that I did when I was with Leslie. So Leslie Strohs also has a YouTube channel. I feel like you all know her because like her channel is massive and she's awesome. But we met up and we spent some time together in Devon, and we went to Totnes Castle and painted that, and then painted by the river as well. So you are completely correct, Terry. It was this very sketchbook that I used, and I mean, I've never painted something like this shape. Like, this is A3 but in a weird dimension, you see what I mean? Like A4 double, wild. And this I painted in St. Agnes with Helen Cryer, and I absolutely love it. We had so much fun, and it was in part because she was saying that she paints up until this point, like in a lot of her paintings, and I was like, oh, I want to try that format, but I guess like Parkinson's law and like water, I don't know what happened, and I just kept going from edge to edge, which is what I usually do. My aim was to stop here, and then somewhere along the line I realized, oh, I forgot. But this is the painting that we did together. Yeah, we definitely need a sketchbook count. I'm actually scared to count and to know what the true number is. Agent XP says 100. Wildflowers like not saying anything. Sharmak, thank you. We listen and we don't judge. I kept doing this this kind of format going across. This is from my time in Cornwall, and then I kept going. This is in Cornwall as well, Polyrrian Cove. This is Polyrrian Cove again. So yeah, I just kept painting, and these are a few of the paintings that I did when I was in Cornwall. No, this one I did when I came back from Cornwall. This one I did during a live stream with members. I need to start making notes. This one I did at home as well. Oh, this bad boy. Can you tell I love this painting? Can you tell? I feel like since I've painted this, almost every video in some way, shape or form has like featured this sketchbook. And like this corner here, this right here. Stop it. This is amazing. We all have our things that we love and we enjoy. And for me, this painting, so far, one of my favorite of the year. I'm gonna say that. And I wish, like, as I'm looking at it, I'm like, you can't even see the full magenta. Maybe if I get it closer, like all the different textures and colors, like this cheeky little shadow on the white boat and like that little bit of light there. What is this? I love it. This one I actually painted with Sennelier paints. And I was trying to do the layering, you see. And then I was like, ooh, this layering is nice. Really nice. And then these are some of the paintings that I have been doing. Oh, is this need to look back on the picture. I think this one is it. Yeah, I think this one is the one where I almost got cut off. You know, where when I was in Cornwall and then I like stood up and looked back and saw that the sea had come behind me and I was actually like in my own little island. I had to pick up all my stuff and run across. But that's the painting that I was doing then. And yeah, so I have been really enjoying boats. Now, I didn't actually list this as one of the items. It's actually a bit harder to find for me now. This is the Meaden paper, which I really enjoy as well, but it's not on one of the favorites because Jackson's don't have it. I haven't used the professional ones. The ones that I use are this isn't that paper. I don't know what paper this is. No, it is. Anyway, hated those paintings. We'll come back to it in another time. What was I saying? Oh yes, I haven't tried the professional ones. These are the student Baohong papers, which I really enjoyed. Oh, this one I did with my, we did together as part of the memberships. This was from our last Zoom session, which was a few days ago. And this is actually using 50% cotton paper. I just wanted to see how it behaved and how it performed and if I could tell a difference between this and 100% cotton. And it's so funny because the first time that I used it, I couldn't tell the difference. And I was like, I know nothing. Like, I clearly know nothing. I'm not a professional. How can I not tell the difference? The more I used it and the more I worked at it, the clearer the difference is kind of felt. But my key thing is a lot of the time I just think about whether I'm getting blooms or not. So if I'm not getting blooms, it feels like I'm painting on 100% cotton. But when I started working at it and layering it, I was like, cotton has other properties. Let me see. Okay, so I'm seeing numbers ranging from 26 to 100. Last time I counted, it was like 110. I can tell you it is probably 130, 140 sketchbooks now. So yeah, we love what we love. I love, and to be fair, it's like sketchbooks. I don't know if it makes it any better, but it's like sketchbooks and watercolor blocks and watercolor pads, the whole shebang, you know? But it's still a lot. I had to give a mention to this. This is another favorite, which is the Caddy Fat Book. This is thick. It has a lot of pages, and I'm going to highlight why it's one of my favorites, because it does have pros and it does have cons. MB Fleur, 63 books, one would think. No, I probably have definitely more than double, probably triple. Well, triple. Do I think I have 180? I don't know. I'm too scared to count. Oh, thank you so much, Wildflower. All my boats are awesome. I kind of shared a Substack post talking about how the boats came to be in a little bit more detail, because it's definitely, I would say that my art has been having a bit of a turbulent time recently, and the boats kind of are quite symbolic of things getting better and my joy for painting. And yeah, so they mean a lot because they have meaning, as well as the fact that I really enjoy them. Cindy, it's amazing. What is amazing? I'm so sorry I missed it. Oh my gosh. That's basically me. I was just sat there. I thought I was facing the sea, and then it came behind me. And because I thought I was facing it and I could see, oh, I was like 2 meters away, I should start packing up. So I casually start packing up. And the thing is, I even record part of it because I wanted to show like, oh, this is the painting and this is where I am. So as I got up and I started recording and showing like my setup, like, oh, I'm on the chair, I then look back and I see the sea. I see a man in the sea with the sea up to his knees. I see another man with the sea up to his knees, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I literally just like grab my, like, still holding the phone, still recording, grab my chair, grab my bag, grab all my supplies. I don't even take it down. I literally grab everything and like run across, because I'm like, if this thing comes all the way up, I don't even know how I'm getting out. I don't want to swim. I don't want to have to get all my stuff wet. And so I like ran across, and I was fine. But it's funny to think back on now. You know, we live and we learn. Terry shared, you know, never turn your back to the sea. And I can't agree more. I would also say, even if you think you haven't, just look around anyway and ask the locals where the sea comes up to. Because in some places like Brighton or whatever, it doesn't come that far in and go out, in, out, whatever. In some of them, when the sea comes in, there is no sand. And that's an important thing to know if you're just relaxing on the sea painting, you know? Oh, I hope that you're okay, Cindy. Oh, and that you're okay too, Terry. Gosh, something's clear. I hope you're both feeling better. A cold in August. I know. It can happen anytime, but yeah, I hope you're feeling better. But yes, Caddy Fat Book. I've shared the replay. I think it will be a fun one to watch back. I did try to somewhat stick to time. But Caddy Fat Books has loads of pages. It has 100% cotton rag paper. And the key reason that I put emphasis on the rag is because it doesn't behave exactly the same as 100% cotton paper as we know it. The Caddy Fat Book in particular has quite thin paper. As you can see, you can kind of see with the light, there's a bit of ghosting. And you might be wondering to yourself, okay, it has so many cons. Why are you even mentioning this book? It does have some imperfections because it's handmade. I'm like, I mean, look at the size of this beast. You get so many pages. And okay, yes, there might be some ghosting and they might warp a little bit, but you can just do so much. So this became the real life impersonation of a low pressure sketchbook for me that I could actually paint in. As much as, like, you know, we talk about the Royal Talons, I don't enjoy painting in there as much as I enjoy painting in here. I enjoy drawing in there, but not painting in there. And this just became a place where I could paint and draw and do anything. These are like acrylic inks and watercolor and pit pens, Neocolor 2s and watercolors, like all these different art supplies. And I just feel like there's so much power in having a safe place to play, where you are not worried about the results, where you are not worried if things work or don't work. This is from a video that I did for members, where I mixed my own acrylic paints. It was fun. And that's what I mean. Like, I did so many random fun experiments on here, because of the freedom. Just looking for a scrap page to stick this on, because of the freedom of just being able to experiment. And I feel like that's where this shines. Like, this is watercolor and acrylics as well. And I just feel like it did my art a world of good, because if I wanted to mess around or if I didn't know where I wanted to create, I could just bring this out. And as you can see, it can handle watercolors. This here is, you know, earlier when I was talking about the Roman Schmall limited palette that had those 5 colors, these are the this is actually a video that, again, I haven't edited, so it hasn't seen the light of day, but it has these 5 colors. These are the mixes that I was able to make, and that's what I mean by I would have liked a magenta, because then I would be able to make brighter purples. And this is the painting that I was able to kind of do with that limited palette in a really quick way, and this was 2023, so we've been in this for a while. And you get so many pages. At the time when this was all the rage and got sold out, it was £11.50. Then it went to £12.50. I believe it is now £14-ish. But obviously when there are sales, the price drops. But I just love it. You're getting so many pages. The listing says something like 96 pages, which is not true. I think it's too... I think I started counting and I got disinterested when I passed 100, but I think it's closer to 200. Like, it might be 96 sheets. But I honestly think it's so much more. Like, there's just so many. I've done a sketchbook tour of this sketchbook, showing it. Like, these are my Daniel Smith colors. Sharing it in more detail. These are watercolors that I made myself. Listen to the names, yeah? The epitome of creativity. This is green number 1. This is purple. This is blue. This is T1. T, because I don't know if it's a teal or a turquoise. Doesn't really pick up on the camera. It's more green leaning than it's showing on the camera at the moment. This is green 2. And you might think I'm joking, but if I hold it up closer, you will see green 2. And I was trying to make granulating greens, so I made them all like pigments. This is green 3. This is green 4. Green 5. Green 4, 5, 6, and 7. Honestly, it's so funny how I can be so creative in some ways and so not in others. So green 7 I didn't actually like initially. So the green 7 that I swatched on the other page I liked, but this is the original green 7, which I just did not like. It was just chalky, very chalky, and I wasn't a fan. So I kept working at it until I got to this green 7, and that was the other reason that I was doing gigantic swatches, because I wanted to get a good understanding of how will it behave. No point it being completely fine when I swatch it like this, and then when I swatch it big and really see how it works, it doesn't work at all. So those were my watercolors, handmade watercolors. I think it will come later. This is T2. Someone loved T1 so much they asked me to make them some more, but it was still slightly different, so I didn't feel like I could call it T1, and so I called it T2. MB Flow, thank you. Yes, this is T2. Can you see? It's slightly, again, a little bit more, it's a bit lighter, a bit more green leaning than I can see it on the screen. Like, I feel like the screen in front is capturing it better than the screen top down view. Do you see what I mean? Like, this is the color. Which pigments were in the greens? It depends on which greens you're talking about. A lot of them they were all multi-pigment. So I guess green 2. Okay, so this one had PB29, PY150, PBR24, PB60, and PB15. And then from some I would remove. This was like this green, but it didn't make it to green 2. So what did green 1 have? This is my blue, which was PB29 and PB60 and PB15. So it's 3 pigments, but then I like that it could get as dark as in Danthrone and Mass Tone, granulate like Ultramarine, and still be super vibrant when watered down like Phthalo. Where's green one? Green one, PB29, PY150, and PBR24. And then when I was doing experiments on these pages, I would add other blues to see whether I liked how it affected. But essentially, it was those 3 colors. These are Neocolor 2s. Ko-fi Random Generator Zoom. Ko-fi is where I host my membership. These are the colors that I've made, basically all swatched out. Greens 1 to 7. I made 3 blues, 2 teas, and 1 purple. I need to go back and make some more. But yeah, I'm just flipping through so that you can kind of get a bit of an idea as to how this sketchbook performs, strengths and weaknesses. And yeah, like lifting was okay, but not the greatest. But still, you just get some really nice effects. One of the paintings that I loved, these I was painting from, this was from an open Zoom session that I did. So I invited all of you, everyone on YouTube, to come and join me for a Zoom, and it was really lovely. It was really a lot of fun. And that was around winter time. These are my Rosa Gallery paints, you know, the tin that I showed you. These are the colors that I got, basically. These bottom ones were the ones that come in the original set that I had, that were very kindly sent to me as a gift by a very special viewer. And then these are the colors that I added to create my overall palette a few years later. How is the caddy paper for layering? It's sensitive to layering. So I have done, I think it depends. If you mean for watercolor, I have done 2 or 3 layers. Anything more than that, I think it starts to struggle and starts to like peel off. Like it's not as strong and robust as just general 100% cotton watercolor paper. I think also in part because it's thin. It's 100 GSM, so it's quite thin paper. So on one hand, it's shocking it can handle so much layering. On the other hand, it's still thin. This is a painting I did with my blue, my T1. No, T2. Anyway, this is swatching out My Merry Blue and other colors. This is acrylic inks. So I used a range of different supplies. This should probably be with my palette. These are my Rosa Gallery colors that I showed you in the palette earlier. This was from a Zoom session where we were doing master studies, so that was a lot of fun. My Daniel Smith colors, which are in my Etcher palette. And purples. Here I was actually working out what colors to send out to my members as Happy Meal. And then, I mean, I love this painting. I don't know if it tells you the kind of styles that I like, but this was, again, as part of that Zoom session that we were doing together on Master Studies. And this is a study of John Singer Sargent's painting. And we did it in a few minutes, like must have been less than 15. And I love it. I just love it. I love the simplicity of it. I love the fact that it was quick and fast and still so painterly. So, this was from a live stream that we did together. It's crazy to think. Abstract Landscapes live stream, 5th of May 2024, and I loved it. So I used watercolors and gouache and tempera sticks, and I scratched things away and I layered things. And if you look at the other side, you can't, like, it didn't come through. Still thin, but it didn't come through. These are like, this is the same reference, but instead I tried to use a limited palette of watercolors to do the same. Anyway, this is from that same Master Studies. This is a Cézanne drawing. And I really like it because I used pencil to do, coloured pencil to do the drawing, so it actually stayed visible. And that is pretty much it when it comes to the Caddy Fat book. So I finished my first one. I'm halfway through my second. I have a third. Actually, I'm more than halfway through. Or maybe I am halfway through. I'm more than halfway through. Yay! So yeah, it definitely has its place. It has its pros and cons. But I feel like as somewhere to have to create loose pieces of work and to have fun and to swatch and to experiment with different colors is just really lovely. Like, I mean, but yeah, you'll probably see that most times I did one or two layers. Very rarely did I do up to 3. And that is the Caddy Fat book. And then, as I said, the Fabriano Artistico paper I absolutely adored, and that is what is in the Etcher Signature Series sketchbook. And then the other paper that I really like is the Saunders. Now, I didn't put this sketchbook per se on my favorites list because I don't like coil binding. That being said, when this sketchbook first came out, it was like 11, not like in general, it was like 11 to 13 pounds for 20 sheets of Saunders 100% cotton 300 GSM paper. Now, it may sound like gibberish, but when I tell you that this paper is nice, it is thick, it's got a beautiful, can you see the texture? Like, it's got proper good going, natural looking cold press texture, which I really enjoyed. I just really enjoyed painting on it, but yeah, I don't like coil binding, and the coil binding technically means that when you cut the page, so if you were to take this out, it is slightly thinner, like slightly smaller than a true A5, but I've been able to use it as a place to sometimes do swatches because it kind of makes it more representational for you guys when you're using, to know like what a color will actually look like on the paper that you're using, but also to just do some paintings and to be more loose and more playful. For the price that I bought this, because it was like on a super sale, it basically means that it's something like, I want to say like 30p per page, which is okay, you know, it's okay, I can do it. So yeah, I've used it for swatching. This was so fun. It's so funny because I use this as like a rough swatch page, and you may have seen it in my other sketchbooks. It's just the nicest and easiest way that I can find. I can play around with different supplies and find out how they work together, how they layer together, and you can't do it wrong, which is what I love. And so I did that on here so that I could test out. Then Hamrib, who has an awesome YouTube channel here as well, came and did a session with me and my members where she basically talked us through her process of using gouache to create different paintings, but specifically talked us through doing this portrait or this painting of this lady. Don't judge me, don't judge her based on my painting, because I don't tend to paint people, but honestly it was such a good session, and we just used a limited palette to do that. And then this is my favorites palette. So this was from a Zoom session with my members where we talked through our favorite colors. This was swatching out our autumn palette, so on and so forth. But it is just a really lovely paper, and I have blocks of it so that I can create more finished pieces on there as well. But then I also have this, which allows me to learn how the paper works, but in a smaller, lower pressure way. That's the papers. I said I wouldn't go through everything, and I feel like I've pretty much highlighted most. I also talk about brushes on there. I talk about Neocolor 2s, of course, and you've seen them featured in a lot of like the mixed media landscapes that I've been painting, and they are water soluble pastels, which I really enjoy for adding like final layers and final touches to my painting. So I don't actually tend to use them like run them down, if that makes sense. I don't usually create a whole piece just using the Neo colors. I more often use them to complement my mixed media. Then I also mentioned this Stay Wet palette, which is, the paint isn't wet because if I'm not going to be painting for a while, I leave it open for the gouache to dry out. This is my Winsor & Newton gouache. I don't want to deal with mold. And so if I'm not going to use it, I will let it dry out completely. Once I am going to use it, I will either reactivate it or just start using it more frequently, and then it will kind of, use it as a dry gouache palette if I want. And if I'm using it a lot, the way that I tend to prefer using gouache is wet, like fresh. I love it. But sometimes what I will also do to these Stay Wet palettes is add a little bit of clove bod oil to the paints to again avoid any issues with mold. And thankfully it's been 4-5 years, no mold. And what else did I mention? I think I mentioned the Inktense pencils, which are 50% off at the moment, or 50-ish% off at the moment. And I like them because, as the name implies, they are very intense, but they also layer on top of a lot of the pieces that I create, as do the Caran d'Ache Luminance. I know that it is overkill to use these Caran d'Ache pencils for the way that I use them, but like I said, I'm in the era where I'm using the supplies that I enjoy. And with the Inktense, again, they layer well, and then they can also get reactivated with water. The other thing that I mentioned that I'm going to be honest, I didn't even realize Jackson's had until I was looking for it specifically, is this, which is the Pentel brush pen, which comes, it's like an actual brush. And this is nice. It is such a satisfying pen. I have just refilled it, so we'll see. Yeah, I hope you can see, like, you can get, with the lightest pressure, you can get thin lines, and then you can put thick lines. Like, this is so satisfying to draw with and to paint. And one of the things that I've come to appreciate more recently and remember is that I like drawing. I do like drawing. I love painting too, but I do also like drawing. So this is one of the other sketchbooks that I took too much when I went car camping, but the drawings that I did, like these big, this is A3, so it's A4 altogether, A3 paper. The drawings that I did here were all using the brush pen, and I loved it because it meant that I could do, it just feels more playful. Do you know what I mean? That I'm able to create all these things. Like, even this, to me, when I look at it, it's like, oh my gosh, super thin. And the fact that I can go from doing that kind of super thin line to this thick one, I love. So I had to mention it and to share it. And I think it's quite popular in general, but I feel like we also don't tend to mention or talk about Pentel quite a lot. My favorite pencil is also the Pentel Graph Gear pencil, and it's so funny because before I got the Graph Gear pencils, I would buy very cheap pound pencils, like pencils that cost £1. I would use them, they would break, like the actual body of it would break, and then I would buy some more, and I was like, it's fine, it's £1. One, it's wasteful and not sustainable, yes, I know, but still, like I said, I was on a budget and I didn't really think much. I was like, I don't even like drawing that much, so it's fine, I'll just keep buying them. And then I bought this, and it's so funny because I feel like a lot of the discoveries that I make about the supplies that I use and I enjoy are retrospective. So I won't necessarily at the time think like, oh my gosh, this is my favorite. It's more so like my behavior that is telling. Because once I got this, not only did I not buy any cheap pencils anymore, if I didn't find this pen, I was going to keep looking this pencil. I was going to keep looking until I found this pencil. This pencil became the pencil that I sketched with. I just enjoy, I don't know if it's the weight, I don't know what it is. it's just a nice pencil to use. And I liked it so much that I got two, so I could have one at home and one on the go with me. And also because, like I said, if I didn't have it, I wasn't sketching, and I didn't want to keep spending all this time looking for this pencil, so it was just easier to have two. But that is like my, and they're both Pentel, which is why it's funny, because I was like, oh my gosh, they are one of my favorites, but we hardly ever talk about Pentel brushes. Have I missed any from my favorites? My aim wasn't to talk through all of them, but I kind of feel like somehow I have. Let me catch up on the comments, and then I will have a quick look at my page on Jackson's. And for those who don't know, that's essentially why I'm highlighting my favorite art supplies, because I now have a page on Jackson's where they are all listed. So if you ever want to know, you can just go check it out and you'll be able to access everything there. And so in this live stream, I was kind of highlighting the pros and cons, and more so just why I love them and how I use these different supplies. Now let me catch up on the chat. Yes, Agent XP PY150. It's my favorite yellow, and it is the greens that I created were basically replicating the greens that I would normally mix in my own palettes and use in my own paintings, and PY150 is one of my favorites. Sienna. Love the creativity in the naming. Navy blue. Yeah, honestly, I was straight to the point. Just green 1, green 2, green 3, green. Like, I figured that, you know, if I were to share it and make like a palette of it, because I do still have them, like I put them all in these little tubs. So I was like, okay, well, if I was going to share it more so, or if I was selling them, or if I made a palette or whatever, if I had to, I would sit down and I would think about making names. But even when I made names in the granulating recipes video, where I share how you can use the colors that you have to make some cool granulating colors, my names were Sketches Blue, Sketches Grey, Sketches Purple. Yeah, when I feel like, you know, my creativity is definitely not linear. It's not like the same level of creativity you see in my paintings, you see in other areas. It's very much like painting got the bulk of it, and everything else, like naming, is just there. Oh, the blues with the 3 pigments is your favorite, Terry. I know, I love it. I just loved that it had I get the benefit of having single pigment watercolors. I do, and I enjoy them thoroughly. But I also liked that my blue 1, although to be honest, I called it my blue, just had the strengths of those 3 pigments, and it made beautiful purples and beautiful greens. What else do I want? What it won't be is a sky blue, unless it's at night. Agent XP, are those snow scenes? Are they landscapes in the art club channel? Agent XP, are the snow scenes, landscapes, art club channel? Art club challenge. Do you mean my art membership? They weren't part of my art membership challenge. Agent XP, ask me the question again. Let me understand. Are you talking about... I know that you're referencing the ones in the Caddy Fat book, but... I believe, but there are 2 that come to mind. So if you're referencing these ones, I did them during the live Zoom that I did that was open for all members. So maybe that's why it looks familiar. If you're referencing the ones that are like purpley, I think it's in here, then that one... This one's from Imagination, I didn't share. But essentially some of them, one of them I actually shared the process on the membership, and the other ones I did live, and then some of them I did privately, and some of them I painted from Imagination. But I guess with snow scenes, there's only so much. how different are they going to be, you know? Oh, you're more than welcome, Leslie. I'm glad that that was helpful. I definitely recommend cracking it open. It is a lovely and fun sketchbook, but I feel like where it shines and the beauty of it is using it in a low pressure way. So definitely a fun place to experiment. But also know that it will behave differently to other papers that you may have. Have I found that watercolors look a bit dull when they dry on the caddy paper? I haven't found that. I haven't found that they are dull, but I don't know if I am maybe heavy-handed with the watercolors, and maybe they would look dull if I haven't painted like caddy next to a different paper side by side. Oh no, wait, I did. Like 4 years ago. It wasn't the caddy fat book, it was the caddy. Where are you? I don't even know. Where did I put? I would have to go searching for it. But yes, I did. And when I did that, I compared the caddy paper, which was I think 200 GSM, to some cellulose paper, and it was brighter on the cellulose paper. But I've only done that comparison once, and I haven't thought about it since. So it might be that it's not you, and that actually without knowing or without thinking about it, I am more heavy-handed when I paint on the caddy paper. But I am not sure, if I'm honest. Initially, it doesn't come to mind as less vibrant, but as I was saying, I haven't tested them side by side. I remember I did, and when I did, it was less vibrant. But that was cellulose versus the caddy fat book. But that's a very good question. So it's not you. Sounds like it's not you, and I don't know if anyone else has had that experience and they want to share it with Moody. Oh, thank you so much, Foreseen. You really like the live paintings. Thank you. And Sharmak, I do find that, but it's not as noticeable when you layer. Okay, fine. So yeah, so it might be that it's something that I've adjusted for without even thinking about it. Leslie says, yes, let's discuss Saunders. I've got some, but haven't used it much. It seems thirsty. Leslie, it is thirsty. I think caddy is thirstier. Ooh, whoops, almost dropped everything. Sorry. I do think caddy is thirstier, but it is thirsty. But what that means to me, like, you know, with everything we modify, what that means to me is that, like, you can layer for days on this. You can layer upon layer upon layer. Like, if you like really wet, oh, that's my tummy. If you like really wet washes, or you want to do a lot of layers, then the Saunders paper will work beautifully for that. I don't know if anyone has had experience with Saunders and wants to share. So I've done these paintings here, and that's the thing with this. Again, don't judge me on this. Don't judge the artist based on this painting. As I said, there's a reason I don't paint people. But the Mightier Pencil, who's an awesome artist, came and led a session where she talked us through her process for painting portraits with watercolor. And it involved a lot of doing light layers and kind of using different colors. And so I layered a lot on this. I've layered a lot in the painting that I did with gouache, and it handles it. So it is, I would say it is thirsty. I would say caddy is probably thirstier and a bit rougher, but I think that is kind of a strength to it. And it just means that it can handle more. It's a bit more robust, in my opinion, compared to some of the other papers that I've used. So the main paintings that I've done on them have been like big landscapes, like Yeah, that's the word, landscapes. They were big, some were snowy, some were not, but they were very big, washy, loose landscapes. Hey Louis, you are not you're not late per se, but I have been here for a little while, but you are welcome. Yeah, if you have the Caddy Fat book, I would definitely recommend you use it as a messy sketchbook and you see how you feel. If you're unsure, I do that flip through. That's a bit slower, and I talk about the pieces a little bit more so that you can have a look and see how they work for you, because like I said, it does have pros and cons, but for the price, for the quality, it's just really lovely to paint on. It's not the same as the other 100% cotton papers or sketchbooks that I've mentioned. So you will have quite quickly noticed that the most paintings I did that I've shown you thus far have been in the Etcher sketchbook. So yeah, it's not the same, and it's not finished pieces, but it's fun. And ultimately, like I said, that's the whole point. What? Agent XP. Whoa, I have never thought of that. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. See, that's the kind of thing that I would have to just throw it away, and I don't know if I could go back to using them. I'd be like, I just can't. And now in my head, I'm thinking about my water brush. Like, are you okay? When was the last time I changed the water? Let me see. Graph gear pencils. You like the graph? Oh yeah, because they're retractable. That's nice because they don't mess up your bags or your pockets. You just press that and then that bit disappears. Although, as you can see, I'm quite bad about retracting them, but that's the tip. And the tip there, and then you press and the tip disappears. And then you press them back down and then they come. And then you have the lead. And this one is the 0.5 one. They have different sizes. Yeah, the 0.5. They have different sizes, and if they have like a different color on the rubber bit here, then that's a different size. So there's brown and blue, but the 0.5 is the one that's just worked for me. I haven't had any issues and haven't felt the need to change it or to use anything different. Oh, Louis, you survived the Jackson's watercolor sale. You almost bought 3 colors, but you resisted. You know what? Me and you both. I didn't end up buying anything. I was really tempted, but then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to keep using what I have and make my way. The thing that tempted me is that I was finishing my paints. I want to say running out, but that's not true. I finished my Manganese Blue by Daniel Smith. I'm running low on my Daniel Smith Ultramarine. I feel like, I should get replacements for like these colors. Not to say that I'm done with these colors, I'm throwing them away, just because I'm like, oh, they will finish soon. Surely they'll finish before the next sale. Like, I'm hitting pan. Oh, that's satisfying. Like, even yeah. So, but I held strong. I held true. I'm waiting for, what am I waiting for? To be honest, I'm waiting for either Black Friday or just in general. We'll see. When I actually run out, I will make an informed decision and buy. When I fully run out of some of the colors or some of my favorites, and yeah, it makes sense. But in my head, I'm like, okay, this is my ultramarine, and I'm like, but look, it's so tiny. Like, there's so little. I finished like half. And to me, this is also satisfying, but also like petrifying, because I'm like, please don't finish. Please don't finish. And this is the second one that I bought, but I've been painting a lot with it. Louis, I don't understand what the face that you're sending means. But tell me what it means. I don't understand. It looks kind of creepy, but I don't know what it is. The reference pic for the snow scenes looked familiar. Oh, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. No, it wasn't. I haven't done I haven't done any Instagram art challenges, so it wouldn't have been for that. But if the Instagram art challenge maybe used some royalty free pictures, then it could be the same reference, because yeah, I tend to look for royalty free pictures, and I think quite a few people who do Instagram challenges do as well, so that there are no issues from that side of things. Oh, Brittany, hey, you absolutely love your fat book. It's amazing and so cheap that you aren't scared to use the book. And I think that's ultimately the beauty of it. uh, oh no, to be fair, that Agent XP, your reaction is probably the most reasonable one. Mine wouldn't have been based on logic, but I can tell you I wouldn't still have that brush. But again, it wouldn't have been logical. Didn't go back. Pasquale, drifting back into, welcome back to the love of watercolor. That's the thing. I try where possible to get things during the sale and to really like make the most of it. Didn't go too crazy. If you feel like sharing the colors that you got, I would love to know. I was actually, I'm telling a lie. I did buy something. I did. Oh my God, look at me. How embarrassing. I was like, yeah, no, I've really been strong and I haven't bought. Yeah, no, I did. Yeah, I haven't opened it yet because I wanted to record the unboxing so that I could make a video. But essentially, in my defense, I bought these because I wanted to send them for the Happy Mail that I'm sending out in a few days. And so I had a few colors and I wanted to get a few extra colors. And so I bought those extra colors. And then obviously I wanted free shipping, and so I added a few extra colors, and before I knew it, my basket had got to like £500. Now I can tell you for free, I did not spend that. So I then had to like go and cull down my list to something that was a bit more reasonable. But yeah, I did buy, and then I also bought some soft pastels, which I haven't even mentioned, but I did buy some soft pastels. These are not the ones that I bought last week. These are the ones that I bought beforehand. That meant that soft pastels, which I haven't discussed yet, were actually on the favorites list, and they are the Unison soft pastels. Now, this one cracked unfortunately, but I can't even be mad at it because I have been carrying them all over the UK, up and down in this box. Like, this is the only protection, and as you can tell, I'm quite rough with them. So the way that I have enjoyed using the soft pastels is primarily to add a layer, basically to add layers to my watercolor and to my gouache paintings. So it does feel like I'm doing overkill because I'm not creating purely pastel pieces yet. Never say never. I've bought some pastel paper to see if I would enjoy it, but I'm that person who doesn't like the feel of soft pastel, so I wear gloves when I use them because I also don't want to get my hands dirty. But I really like them, and again, I feel like I'm doing overkill, to use such good quality paints, such good quality soft pastels to do mixed media work. But if it's what I like, it's what I like, Louis, why are you saying sorry? Oh, you're back. I understand. Welcome back. Thank you so much, CL. That's a very good point. It would be helpful to get into the habit of reading the comments or questions when responding so that people can know in the replay. That is very true. I try to read them sometimes, but I feel like the same way that I just did with your comment, I just like read the beginning and then like start answering by the end. But yeah. Agent XP, I stayed strong for the Jackson sale. That is awesome. Because you're saving, oh, okay. Probably because you're saving money for the Art Miranda sale on the Urban Sketches. Yeah, honestly, I'm going on a little art trip soon and I'm trying to save money for that as well. Although, of course, I did buy I can't believe I forgot, but yeah, I did do that Jackson's order and I did buy some Unison soft pastel, some more. What I wanted to mention about those specifically actually is that they are the half sticks. So I particularly like them because they are smaller. Like I feel the way that I use them, I don't need the extent of the 4 sticks, and so this makes them more cost effective, price, you know what I mean, like it makes them a better price. They're more affordable, but I get a good range of colors as well. And then by buying these sets, so I bought the greens, the blues, the red/yellows, and now I've bought another set that I'll show in a video upcoming. But by getting these sets, I got a good range of the colors that I would actually use. Oops, sorry. Louis. The watercolors on Jackson's are still giving you a bombastic side eye. Agent XP, I also got the Art Toolkit pocket palette. Wanted to try it for ages. And they sell it over there. They are awesome. Where did I put mine? That's the thing with, because I've been painting at home but also painting on the go. I have my supplies are half here and half, where did I put them? They're half here and half like, as in like half on my desk, and the other part is in my bags. Hold on, it's here. I know it is here because here we go. Oh, look at this. This is a gift that I got from my mum a few years ago. I love handbags. I need to take better care of it. But yeah, I love handbags, and she got me this really lovely leather Radley handbag a few years ago. And I still absolutely love it. But yeah, so it's not my art bag, it is my handbag, but obviously I still travel around with my art supplies, and so that's where my art toolkit was. So this one is, gonna have to clean my table. This one is the big art toolkit, and it has been such a pleasure to use. These are the colors that I put together for when I went to Italy, and as you'll see, a lot of them are Daniel Smith colors. The one con or thing about the Roman Schmuck colors is that they don't come in tubes. So when it comes to wanting something that's going to be in tubes or making my own palettes or mixing my own colors, I instinctively turn to Daniel Smith as well. But I did put a range of different colors. So we have Daniel Smith, Core, Sennelier, Schminke, My Merry Blue, Holbein, Core, Rosa. Yeah, those are the brands. So it's a wide range of brands, and it's because I was putting together the Italy palette. I have to be honest, when I initially got it, I was very skeptical about this palette. I didn't think it would be big enough. I thought that I would run out of paint, because you can see like it's quite thin. I thought that I would run out of paint, and I mean, I did not. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, it's dependent on how much paint you're using. But it is actually, it's better than I thought. I thought that the paint would spill everywhere. I thought that all the colors would get contaminated. Like I was very skeptical. I was really very, very skeptical about it. And It took me a while to get it. Full disclosure, they sent this to me to test out and to try. And that was because, remember, I'd made a video highlighting my different travel palettes, and I have a lot of travel palettes. And when I made that video, so many people were like, what about Art Toolkit, Art Toolkit, Art Toolkit, Art Toolkit? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know about it. I don't know if it's going to be that good, and it's probably going to be too small, and I'm not going to enjoy it, and full of cons. I still reached out to them because so many people asked, and I loved it. Shocker. I love it. Especially, as you could see, like, to just have inside my handbag. So in my handbag, I have this. I have a water brush. I have my small Etcher sketchbook. I have some paper towels that I took from a restaurant. Like, you know, when you go to a restaurant, and I won't show you which one, but, you know, I went to the restaurant and they had, like, look, you see how hard I had to pull to tear it? Like, it's really thick. I mean, I want to say tissue, but you know what I mean? Like, it's not technically tissue. It's just so thick. And so it holds water for a really long time. And and I took a few. So I have that. This is the little Etcher sketchbook that I was referring to. Just in case the mood strikes me to paint as I am out and about. So a lot of these pieces, I love doing this, where I then record the supplies that I'm using at that time. Because then it means that when I look back, it is clearer. This is the favorites palette that we made. Some sketches of my supplies that I was using at the time. And then these are the paintings that I did in Italy. Oh yes, this is the palette. Here, you see what I did there? And then the top one is this one, because they were both my Italy palette. So yeah, I really enjoy this palette, and I wasn't sure that I would. I did reach out to them. They did send it to me. I think the first time they said they weren't interested, and I was like, fine, because to be honest, neither am I. And then the second time they sent it to me, and I have really, really enjoyed it since. It even took me a while to use them because I was like, oh, I'll run out of paint. But no, they're really nice, and they're just handy to have. The pocket one is smaller than this, but I feel like this size works quite well for me. Sienna, I'm qualifying my Gilby Museum set as a 60th birthday present for yourself. Happy birthday! I don't have many Holbein watercolors, and I'm a huge Miyazaki fan. It was a lot, but less expensive than flying to Japan. Sienna, I can't tell you the number of times that I have looked up flight prices to Japan just so that I can see, like, actually, should I just fly there, buy the supplies that I want, and then come back? But yes, logically, every time I've checked, it's always been cheaper to just pay for it and shipping and all than to fly to Japan. But one day I will go, and I will go with an empty suitcase. I'll tell you all of that for free. And happy birthday. Pasquale, you got A Gallows Hokkaido Orange. I've heard quite a few people mention that. Quinn Magenta, Permanent Carmine, Indanthrone Blue, Roman Schmalz, Sap Green, Buff Titanium, Van Gogh's Permanent Red and Permanent Rose, and Daniel Smith's Green Gold and Quinn Gold. Whoa, that is a good selection of colours. You finally have, not only do you have a professional range of paints, like you said, you have a good range of them, so you'll be able to kind of see what colors you enjoy most and what brand you enjoy as well, because they all kind of behave a little bit differently. Sharmak, you love the folio palette, as do I. And hey Louis, hey Pasquale, hello, what did I miss? Terry, you love those good napkins. Me too. Hey, Michelle Campbell, welcome. Yes, I am still at it. It's actually wild. How long has it been? Probably long enough. I reckon it's time for me to go to bed, especially because I have to be up early tomorrow. By tomorrow, I mean later today. But I hope that you have enjoyed these insights and these chats into like favorite art supplies, gouache, watercolor, pencils, brushes, the whole works. I didn't touch too much on brushes because, like I said, you know, watercolors and paper are just more exciting, aren't they? But before I go, does anyone have any questions? Is there anything that someone has said that perhaps I have missed? If so, please feel free to let me know and I will answer before I go. Oh, you were just yapping and saying hello. More than welcome to do so. So it's been nice having you in these live streams. It's just been so nice having all of you. And as I said, the whole point of this was to celebrate the fact that I now have my own page on Jackson's Art. I have left it linked in the description, just in case anyone is curious, wants to see the full list, or is just interested. And then it means that, you know, more times than not, I'll just be able to refer people there and you'll be able to see it. And it is a living list. So I'm hoping that every so often I will just, you know, go and update it to kind of stay somewhat up to date with what I'm loving and using, because, you know, my art and I will continue to evolve. Thank you so much, Marilyn. Thank you, Pasquale. Thank you, Terry, Sharmak, Leslie, Louis, Wildflower, Agent XB, Kim. Honestly, I really hope that I feel like I haven't been on top of the comments this time. Fat Squash, hey, in Down Throwing Loving Friend. Michelle. I really do hope that that I haven't missed too many of your messages, and that I have in some way managed to say hi or to greet you all. But just know that I appreciate all of you. Thank you all so much for the congratulations and for the kind words. If you are one of my email subscribers, then I would definitely recommend that you check out the last email that I sent, because there is something exciting coming, and those who are on my mailing list are going to get first dibs. Don't know. Yes, let's just leave it at that. So yeah, I have a lot of exciting things coming, and I've created a wait list for something specifically, and those on the wait list are going to get first access when this special thing gets released, which is likely going to be later on this week. So yeah, be sure to check out your emails just in case. And if you are still watching, whether you're watching on the replay or live, how will you let me know? I reckon let me know by telling me what your, like, you know, what your favorite supply is. You can pick whether it's watercolor or a favorite gouache or a favorite paper or a favorite something, just a supply that you enjoy using. Just leave it in the comments, and then I will know, you will know, and everyone watching will know that you are an MVP. And then we will also get to know, like, you know, the really good quality and fun art supplies out there. Now, I mean, in the comments, not in the chat, okay? Because once it's in the chat, it sometimes will disappear, but in the comments it won't, and then we'll be able to see it all together. But honestly, thank you all so much. Oh, you saw it, Sharmak. Yes, I know. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Oh, praise God. Anyway, I hope that you all have a wonderful week ahead. Oh no, Durwood, I'm leaving. I'll stay on for a few more minutes, but yeah, it's so lovely to have you all here. Here we are. I feel so bad, Durwood, but thank you for joining. It's 2 a.m. Oh my gosh, I thought it was 1 a.m. Has the time moved forward? No, it hasn't, has it? It's just me. Oh yeah, thank you, Terry. If you enjoyed this video, by the way, remember to hit the like button. And yeah, especially if you're watching a live stream, because you are one of the truest of true MVPs, you know, super, super, super engaged. I know most people don't watch the live streams, but I just love the community that we have here, if that makes sense. So as per the little spoiler, I will say is that yes, I will be having a retreat next year. So if you want to be part of it, then definitely be sure to become a email subscriber. But if you're already an email subscriber, I sent an email. If it's something that you're going to be interested in, then join the waitlist. And I haven't shared the waitlist publicly. I want to do it properly. I want to do the retreat properly, and I'm taking care, and I want to be able to share it with those who are closest first and then expand it. And obviously, if you're still watching at this point, you are one of the closest people, so you should know about it. So I have sent an email and I have sent a wait list, because those on the wait list are going to get first dibs. It is going to be, I know, Wildflower, finally, we've been speaking about this for years. But an email subscriber, I wonder if I've left it in the description. Have I? Yes, I have. If you look in the description under stay in touch, I have a link to my mailing list. So if you're already, oh my gosh, if you are already a subscriber, it's not subscriber, you know what I mean? If I already have your email address, I sent an email about this earlier this week so that you could join the wait list. The way that I'm going to do it is I've given everyone the opportunity in terms of like those on my membership and those whose emails I have. I've given you the opportunity to join the wait list. Those on the wait list will get the first opportunity to join, and then I will share it wider. I obviously don't know how this is going to go, but either way, I'm just so excited to finally get to paint with you live face to face. And I'm doing like an introductory offer. It is as affordable as I could make it. It is all inclusive and in a beautiful place. I am so excited, and I'm trying to keep it under control because this is not the launch, right? I shouldn't even be talking about this, but then it's like, wait, we spent so long talking about this during the live streams. And really and truly, if you're 3 hours deep with me into a live stream, then you are the right person, right? Like, but yeah, it's going to be amazing. So what I'm probably going to do, what I've already done is I've already sent out the email to let people join the wait list. Once spaces open, I'll send it out to the waitlist first, give you first dibs, and then after to those whose emails I have, and then after that I will leave it out to YouTube, and we will see how it goes. But I am just so grateful that it is going to be happening, grateful to God, and also scared. I've talked about, I feel like in this whole video I've kind of talked about the things that I have grown through over the past few years. One of the things I'm still growing through is like imposter syndrome, but I'm trusting God. This is going to be an awesome retreat, and I am really doing my best to make it as amazing for everyone. But yes, Wildflower, finally. Anyway, I wonder if I'm gonna have to leave this bit in because I don't want us to lose the chat. But anyway, I haven't shared all the details yet, but it's going to be in the UK. So it's going to be in the UK. It's going to be in March of 2026 in the UK. That makes sense to share yet. Everything else I'm kind of finalizing, and that's why I shouldn't even be talking about it. But those two things I know, and I'm so excited. Thank you so much, Kim. But yeah, so Louis, I think that, I don't know if you can post. I don't think anyone can post. Hold on, let me copy the link. Let's see if I can paste it. Oh no, it's too long for me to paste. Well, how's that possible? How can it be too long to paste? Okay, here we go. So this is the link to the mailing list. Thank you, Michelle. It's going to be fun, don't fret. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. I'm just so excited. If you've been on this live streams, you're probably sick of me talking about this, but it's something that I have wanted to do for the longest time. With you, I just feel like it's going to be so good. And I have recently done an art retreat and it did wonders for me. And to be able to do that same thing, but for others, amazing. And okay, cool, it's working. Good, I'm glad. But yeah, so I'm really excited about it. As I said, if you are on the wait list, you're going to get first dibs, and then everybody else, and then the email, and then YouTube. And also an email, I tend to share other things. I do send an email maybe once a month or so, sometimes less. Initially, I was sending them every month religiously, but then I don't know. I kind of feel like I don't know what, I didn't know if that was the best. I don't like getting emails, and I didn't want to feel like I was spamming people, if that makes sense, which makes no sense because people signed up and said, email me. And I'm still like, should I email you? Anyway, I now reserve it for special things or special mentions, and I send emails every so often, but basically 6 to 12 emails a year is what I aim for. But yeah. No, you never know. Exactly, you never know. But I hope that all makes sense. I hope that you found this helpful and enjoyable, and that you've enjoyed it as much as I have. Thank you all so much for being here and for your kind and unfailing support. And yeah, I will see you next time. Thank you all so much, and good night. Bye. Oh wait, Terry, you are. Are you? Terry, you must be. If you are a member, then, or maybe you're not, to be honest, but I think you are. Even if you're not a member, I still gave you, it's like I can't say goodbye. Have you seen those memes on Instagram when it's talking to people who can't say goodbye, and they literally say goodbye for an hour? That's me. That's literally me. But if you are a member, I posted a link. I posted a little post about it too. So basically, members and where are you? Where did I not post? I did post. I definitely did. Yeah, here it goes. So if you are a member, then you get access on there as well. Thank you, Amanda. I'm so glad that you've had a good time. Okay, I promise. I'm leaving now. I promise. Thank you all so much, and good night. Have a lovely, lovely, lovely week ahead. Bye.